It's Thursday, April 2nd. Today, finger-pointing over payments, why one nurses group says Manitobans are needlessly paying for services, and the response from the health minister. Also, sextortion cases on the rise, what police are sharing about the cases, and how you can protect yourself and your children from falling victim to these schemes. And a sigh of relief. What comes next for Ukrainians in Manitoba as the federal government offers a one-year work permit extension. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Thursday to you, the last day of this working week. We're so happy to be here. And Tanny Vera is going to be live at the St. Boniface Buhler Art Gallery. They have a really cool exhibit there right now that involves puppetry as well as sort of catering to pediatric illness and some of the kids who are spending some time in the hospital. So we're going to have that later on throughout the morning, actually, and tell you a little bit about how puppetry can really change a kid's perspective when they're having a rough day. So we're gonna have that. But first, before we talk about weather, let's talk about that moon. It's so bright.
Isn't it beautiful?
Don't you see the moon differently now, knowing that this Artemis 2 mission is officially on and the astronauts are heading that way? It's so cool.
To be honest, no, that had totally slipped my mind. I saw the moon and I was like, ooh, I'm manifesting all the good things. But you're right. Yes, the mission.
It's so cool
to
think of it that way.
Absolutely change the way we look at the moon in the future, for those of us that can get our heads wrapped around that. Okay, we did have not completely clear conditions, but when I was coming into work, the clouds around the moon had cleared out, so it was still looking gorgeous and beautifully in view. And there's only a few clouds out there. I mean, if they happen to pass in front of the moon momentarily, you might see it briefly disappearing, but otherwise a good morning for some moon gazing. It's -1 right now, feels like -6. Winds out of the east-southeast are just 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, the humidity at 82%, a mild and above seasonal start to your morning. Normal lows would be around -5, so we are a lot closer to the freezing mark than those seasonal low temperatures. And as far as the conditions go today, they'll be pretty pleasant. Still below seasonal with where the temperatures are headed, but there should be moments of sunshine. Not that there's not clouds. You can see the clouds here, but like I said, there were times that I could even see that moon fully on display. So partly cloudy conditions, that's what we'll call today. And pleasant conditions overall, in that the winds will be light and the temperatures, even though they are going to be shy of seasonal, they're going to be warmer than they've been, pushing up into the plus digits. Parts of northern Manitoba, you had those pleasant temperatures yesterday. Heavier clouds are likely to move in for Friday. We might still get to enjoy a little bit of sunshine there throughout Friday. You can see off and on those clouds kind of clearing out, especially through central and parts of southern Manitoba. For the weekend itself, we might see a little bit of sunshine, but there's more likely to be some precipitation passing through perhaps by Sunday. The temperatures, though, they are slowly and steadily warming up. Even if we're not quite hitting what is normal for this time of year, seasonal highs would be around 6 degrees. We will see some gains, getting up to 5 perhaps by Saturday. Some precipitation Sunday. Following that, a brief cool down, but the mercury will then be on the rise again right after that slight dip.
Thank you, Terry. Manitobans may have to continue paying for some health services. Under a federal government directive, provinces had until April the 1st to ensure all primary care services provided by nurse practitioners are publicly funded. But as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, the association representing the practitioners say the province has missed the deadline.
Nurse practitioners can diagnose, prescribe medications, and order diagnostics like an MRI, CT scan, or ultrasound. But their association says Manitobans are unnecessarily paying for some of their services out of pocket.
That won't change until there are changes to payment reform for nurse practitioners.
The federal government gave provinces an April 1st deadline to make a change based on a new interpretation of the Canada Health Act. The change allows for primary care provided by nurse practitioners, pharmacists, and midwives, equivalent to a doctor, be covered by provincial health plans. The Nurse Practitioners Association of Manitoba says the province has missed that deadline.
There has not been any uptake. There has not been any push.
The association says nurse practitioners want to run private clinics like doctors do and build a public system, not patients themselves, which is happening now.
If you are seeking care from a nurse practitioner in a private practice, you will continue to pay out of pocket. And remembering that we live in a society where you don't need to.
Didn't miss the deadline, so our government is actually already ahead of that.
But Manitoba's health minister says the province is aligned with the feds on this.
There are some nurse practitioners who have independent practices who are delivering services, I believe, outside of the Canada Health Act parameters. So that's likely what they're referring to.
The association says they have raised this issue with the minister and they're not sure why the changes are not being made.
Our members have made us known that they will continue to open up more and more private practices because they see the gaps.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
If the deadline has in fact been missed, little will happen, at least right now. Penalties for non-compliance don't come into force until April of next year. A former student is suing Pembina Trail School Division, alleging it failed to protect him from years of sexual abuse by a Winnipeg football coach and phys ed teacher who is now serving a 20-year prison sentence for sexual assault, sexual exploitation, and luring. A statement of claim alleges the school division was negligent, breached its fiduciary duty, and is liable for the conduct of former coach Kelsey McKay. The plaintiff, whose identity is protected by a publication ban, attended Vincent Massey Collegiate between 2014 and 2018 and was a member of the school's varsity football team. According to the claim, McKay used his position as both the head coach and physical education teacher to gain the plaintiff's trust before subjecting him to what the document describes as sexual assault, psychological abuse, grooming, manipulation, and harassment. The alleged conduct began in 2014 and continued until approximately 2021. The lawsuit seeks an unspecified amount in damages as well as legal costs. CTV News could not reach McKay for comment. A spokesperson for Pembina Trail School Division says the division isn't commenting as the matter is before the courts. The allegations have not been tested in court and no statement of defense has been filed. U.S. President Donald Trump gave an update on the Iran war during a primetime address to the nation.
Our armed forces have been extraordinary. There's never been anything like it militarily. Everyone is talking about it, and tonight I'm pleased to say that these core strategic objectives are nearing completion.
President Trump said U.S. forces will hit Iran very hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. He also suggested the war could wind down without a deal. In response, Iran's military is warning of crushing and destructive attacks. Markets are reacting this morning with no set timeline to end the war and tensions threatening to escalate. Stocks are down in Asia, Europe, and in pre-trading on Wall Street. Oil prices are up 6%, with Brent crude trading at about $107 US a barrel. The island of Crete in Greece was draped in a remarkable orange hue. This orange haze is formed when strong winds push sand and dust particles from the Sahara in North Africa across the Mediterranean. Local media reported the dust caused some incoming flights to divert to other airports. The dust comes as a storm front passes through Greece, bringing rain and strong winds. As measles cases continue to spike higher in Manitoba, the province is planning to offer the vaccine in a surprising location, the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair in Brandon.
They're going to be there to meet folks where they're at.
Health Minister Uzuma Azaguera says the province will have a booth set up at the annual event. There, public health officers will be talking about measles and giving out immunizations for people who want to be protected. So far this year, there have been more than 350 confirmed cases of the highly infectious virus in our province. The province says they want to answer any and all questions people might have about vaccines and provide them to those who are interested. The minimum wage in Manitoba is going up this fall. The province will boost the minimum wage by 40 cents to $16.40 an hour effective October the 1st. The increase is based on Manitoba's inflation rate in 2025. However, some labor advocates say the hike falls short.
$16 going up to $16.40. Any increase is good for minimum wage workers, but they deserve better. You know, when you work full time, you shouldn't have to live in poverty. And right now, Manitoba has a working poor problem. Over 40,000 workers make minimum wage in our province, and they live below the poverty line. They don't make enough to meet their basic needs. That needs to change. We think that minimum wage should be a living wage.
The Manitoba Federation of Labor says data shows workers need to earn close to $20 an hour just to meet basic needs. And its president, Kevin Rebeck, wants the Canoe government to change laws to allow larger minimum wage increases. Plenty of Manitoba businesses and organizations got into the spirit of April Fool's Day on Wednesday, but Winnipeg's baseball team says there's some truth to its prank. The Winnipeg Goldeyes announced its rebranding as the Manitoba Mosquitoes. The team vowed the mosquitoes will strike fear, irritation, and mild itching into the hearts of opponents everywhere. Of course, the fake name change was all in good fun, sort of. The organization is actually rebranding as the Manitoba Mosquitoes for one night only on July 31st at Blue Cross Park, complete with special jerseys and hats.
This morning, there's a look down on the streets, and not a bad way to be kicking off your morning. You can see traffic moving along just fine. Perhaps maybe a bit of haze out there. I think it has more to do with our camera. Let's bring it on back upstairs now, shall we? There we go. Okay, so as far as the conditions go out here, it's not clear, but there are clear moments and just a few clouds. And overall, it is a fairly pleasant start to your day. With the temperatures just barely below the freezing mark right now and the winds on the lighter side, we're actually slightly above seasonal with where we're sitting right now. And the winds should actually stay fairly light to moderate throughout the day today. The conditions themselves, well, we'll see those clouds lingering for a good little bit, but there will also be some sunshine that'll be able to shine through. It's -1 right now, and it feels more like -6 once you're factoring in that wind. A 15K breeze out of the east-southeast with pressure falling and the humidity sitting at 81%. Now, around the province, many of us will see those extra clouds kind of lingering, and the temperature values that we're waking up to this morning are quite mild here in the south, a little bit cooler, though, more so through central and parts of northern Manitoba. Only the mid-minus teens, though, not a shock. I mean, it is still colder than you would expect this time of year, but relatively speaking, we're doing okay. We are slowly making some gains, just not quite back to maybe what you would expect this time of year, and that's because seasonal temperatures would actually have us up around 6 degrees. Today, we're probably going to top out at about 2, but a few pockets of sunshine to enjoy.
Thank you, Terry. Let's now go to Tandy Vera, who's live at the Buehler Art Gallery this morning. Hi, Tandy.
Good morning, Rochelle, and hello, Manitoba. Happy Easter weekend. And yes, I'm at the Buehler Art Gallery in St. Boniface Hospital, checking out a new upcoming exhibit, and it's called Show Me Where It Hurts. And it features it's a puppet-filled art exhibit. And yes, I said puppets, which I think is super cool and unique and interesting. They have fabric flowers, finger puppets, and even a giant plush puppet theater, which super cool to check out. It was created by artist Hannah Doucette, who wanted to explore the experiences of children and illnesses or healthcare, because let's be real for a second, sometimes hospitals can be scary or even intimidating, especially for children. So the exhibit takes something playful like puppetry and makes those experiences a little more understandable and, you know, builds this connection, which is really what it's all about, especially in the world of a child. So we're going to be talking to the artist later on during the show, as well as the curator. So you want to tune in and you might get a little puppet show as a sneak peek. So it's going to be a good one. And yeah, it's going to be a puppet-filled show. Thank you so much.
Usually to young adults, they don't report it because of fear, anxiety. They don't want anybody to know. So a lot of them will keep complying, but yeah, it is on the rise.
Extortion often involves a perpetrator convincing the victim to send them intimate images online. And then the perpetrator threatens to share them unless money, gift cards, or more pictures are provided. Police say about 87% of victims in cases reported to the service's Internet Child Exploitation Unit are boys. In those incidents, victims are typically targeted by strangers who develop a relationship with them, often using social media, and it all happens in a matter of days or weeks.
Know what their child is doing on the internet. If they're on social media, if they're on gaming platforms, maybe get to know the platforms they're on. There's so many different ones, so it's tough for parents. But I think the major thing they can do is make sure that parents know what their kids are doing online, who their friends are, and if they're communicating with somebody they don't know, ask your child who it is.
Police have launched an online video series to educate the public on how they can protect themselves and what to do if they're targeted. Police say many victims are unaware of the legal protections and supports that exist. Those targeted or victimized are urged to contact police or report the incident through cybertips.ca. And as you heard, the detectives say you should talk to your kids about what they're doing online. A police pursuit of a stolen beer truck in Indiana came to a dramatic end. Police body cam video shows the truck stolen from a nearby liquor store smashing into a police cruiser, then veering off the road and coming to a stop. Officers used pepper balls to get the suspect out, then made the arrest. The driver is facing multiple charges, including attempted murder and auto theft. One of Canada's largest banks is asking a court to dismiss a lawsuit which claims it failed in its duty of care after $343,000 was mistakenly deposited into the wrong account and later withdrawn. The suit was brought forward by Winnipeg-based Taylor McCaffrey LLP. It claims it was acting for a client on a real estate transaction and had instructed the funds be transferred from a mortgage lender into a CIBC trust account at this branch in the city's core. But the firm learned a few days later the funds never arrived and were instead sent to the wrong account because of an incorrect transit number. CIBC says its efforts to recall the funds were unsuccessful and later learned the money had been transferred to accounts in Morocco and the UAE. The law firm is arguing the bank had a duty to verify the account details matched before completing the transfer. But the bank disputes this, pointing to a bylaw under the Canadian Payments Act, which states when a payment includes both the name and account number, financial institutions are not required to identify discrepancies between them. The bank is asking the claim be dismissed with costs. CTV News has reached out to the plaintiff's lawyer for comment. We're still awaiting a response. None of the claims has been tested in court. If you'd like to learn more about the lawsuit and each party's position, we have an article up on our website. Just head to ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. The historic Fort Garry Hotel was honored Wednesday evening by Heritage Winnipeg. It was just one of the winners at the annual Preservation Awards.
And it's just astounding how many heritage buildings have been rehabilitated and now have renewed life and are part of the urban landscape in the city.
It's often easier and cheaper to simply tear down an old building instead of preserving the existing structure. But when organizations or individuals decide to go that extra mile, they qualify for the annual Preservation Awards, now celebrating its 40th year. 2 people and 4 projects were honored with awards. Among this year's winners, the Chessway Apartments project on Chestnut Street got the Residential Conservation Award.
I'm in the business, and even I didn't have a complete understanding of exactly what it would take to accomplish the task, and it was a pretty significant effort.
The Fort Garry Hotel won a Commercial Conservation Award, and a second Commercial Conservation Award was handed out to the Saddlery Building on William Avenue. The Roslyn Square Apartments on Osborne Street were also singled out for a Residential Conservation Award. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning. The southbound curb lane on Ingersoll Street will be closed from St. Matthews Avenue to Portage. The southbound median lane on Donald Street will be closed between Notre Dame and Cumberland Avenue. And on Console Avenue, all lanes will be closed intermittently from Gray to London Street. If you know of any traffic issues today, please text them to us at 10400.
Looking through the CTV Live Eye now, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. So I was saying it's a mild start to the day, but their temperatures just barely below the freezing mark. So kicking off your morning at -1 here in Winnipeg and seeing very similar temperatures all throughout the south, just a few degrees below, couple to a few degrees below the freezing mark. Now normal lows would be around -5, so many of us are already above seasonal. We're not going to make massive gains though, so we will still likely remain a little bit below normal for this time of year, but still, as far as the morning goes, it really is quite pleasant. Parts of central Manitoba start to look a little bit cooler in those mid-minus or minus double digits, then into the mid to high minus teens. But again, relatively speaking, these are all improvements over where we've been. Last few days, Churchill has still had wind chill values in the -30s, and today -29. I know it doesn't really sound like much of an improvement, but I promise you, if you've been tracking their temperatures, it certainly is. Now, as far as the conditions go today, sure, there's a few extra clouds, but the sun will be up just after 7 a.m., and we will likely see some moments or pockets of sunshine off and on over the next few days. In fact, there will be moderate cloud cover at times, but enough to let the sun shine through, or enough breaks in those clouds to let the sun shine through. We could still slip to -2 over the course of the morning just before the sun rises, is typically when it's coolest, but then getting up to the freezing mark and even above +2. That is where we're expected to end up this afternoon. Maybe 3 for tomorrow and up to 5 by Saturday. 6 degrees is actually seasonal, so we're not quite getting to those numbers, but certainly improvements over where we've been. A round of precipitation on Sunday could cause those temperatures to drop off for Monday, but it won't be long before we see that mercury on the rise again. What a stunning shot of the full moon, the aurora borealis. Absolutely breathtaking photo here, thanks to Wayne, taken in Knee Lake. Keep the photos coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca. We're taking a break, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
25 years of nonsense. The Winnipeg Comedy Festival will be happening from April 20th to the 26th, and Your Morning Winnipeg is giving away a pair of tickets to watch all 5 mega shows at the Burton Cummings Theatre. It's your chance to laugh with Dave Murhaji, Sean Majumder, Chris Wilson, Jan Arden, and more. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca. Don't forget to enter the keyword jokes. Good luck. 4 astronauts, including Canadian Jeremy Hansen, has blasted off on a 10-day mission that will see the crew slingshot around the moon to return to Earth. Artemis 2, the maiden mission of NASA's grand plans for a permanent moon base. CTV's Janice Golding reports.
Booster ignition and liftoff.
With a thunderous blast, Artemis 2 hurtled toward the heavens. The first time astronauts will attempt to return to the vicinity of the moon in more than 50 years.
Houston now controlling the flight of integrity on the
A historic mission marked by watch parties around the globe as 4 astronauts, including 1 Canadian, attempt to travel farther from Earth than any human has ever gone before.
It makes me feel emotional considering how dangerous and unpredictable space travel is.
It was amazing, like seeing like the incredible amounts of like smoke and like plumes coming out of it.
Among the crew of 4 is Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen, who shared this message with Canadians before takeoff.
Canada, I am thinking of you, and I am hoping that all of you see your greatness reflected in this journey around the moon. I'm just so proud of all of you.
King Charles sent his best wishes to Hansen before his departure, saying, in part, "It is with immense pride and a profound sense of shared purpose that I write to you as you prepare to embark upon the Artemis 2 mission. As the first Canadian to venture to the moon, you carry not only the hopes of your fellow Canadians and the Commonwealth, but also the aspirations of humanity itself." Meanwhile, Canada's first female astronaut commended Hansen for making this journey.
Jeremy's waited a long time. He's trained so hard for this. I mean, he's doing incredible things, and he's trying all kinds of new pieces of technology on this flight that none of us who've flown in space before has ever tried, ever seen.
The deep space mission will take Hansen, Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialist Christina Koch on a 10-day trip around the moon and back, with the crew expected to fly past the moon in 6 days.
Canada was the 3rd country in the world to send satellites into space. We're now the 2nd country in the world to send humans to the moon.
If the mission is a success, Hansen will become the first Canadian to leave low Earth orbit.
This is a big step forward for Canada as a major spacefaring nation.
With Canadians and people around the world cheering Hansen and his fellow astronauts on.
We're so proud of you, Jeremy. All right, here's a look outside now at Portage Avenue at Polo Park. It looks like things are starting off really smooth this morning. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
I look outside, it's -1, a very mild and pleasant start to your day, and even slightly above seasonal. Don't get too excited. We're not going to stay on that above seasonal trend. East-southeast winds, they're on the lighter side, just 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 81%. But it is a pleasant morning, so we're going to call that a win. A lovely way to be kicking off your Thursday morning right now. There's a few extra clouds, but there's breaks in those clouds. I was talking about that moon, which is still looking beautiful and full, by the way. Lovely on display, and enough breaks in those clouds that I was able to see it shining brightly this morning, and we'll probably see a little bit of sunshine today shining brightly at times, but again, we'll still deal with clouds. As far as temperatures go, yes, we're above seasonal to kick off your morning, but we won't make those impressive gains to stay on par with seasonal temperatures for later on this afternoon, because we'll be topping out at about 2 degrees, and in fact 6 is normal for this time of year. But overall, relatively speaking, compared to where it's been, all of this I'm going to call an improvement, including our overnight lows only dropping down to -3 overnight and back up above freezing for tomorrow. Once again, the conditions will be quite similar over the next few days. There will be some clouds, sure, but enough breaks in them to enjoy some sunshine. 3 degrees, you see this warm up happening up to 5 degrees perhaps for Saturday. Now Sunday could bring some slightly different conditions, some heavier clouds, some precipitation, and following that those temperatures will be dropping off. It'll be brief though. We're back up to the freezing mark by Tuesday and watching the mercury make those gains again as the week goes on.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
Sex offender Peter Nygaard is suing the government of Manitoba and Saskatchewan, along with Winnipeg police and others, alleging charges he faced in one case were an abusive process. The former fashion mogul was charged in 2023 for allegedly sexually assaulting and unlawfully confining a woman in Winnipeg in 1993. Those charges were stayed in October after a judge ruled records of police interviews with the complainant in 1993 were destroyed without justifiable reasons, violating Nygaard's right to a fair trial. Prosecutors decided not to lay charges in 2020, but the Manitoba government later forwarded the investigation to Saskatchewan Justice for an independent review, and Nygaard was arrested. In the statement of claim, Nygaard's lawyers alleged 2 women, including the complainant, made defamatory statements. The Manitoba government acted improperly and police were negligent. The claims have not been tested in court and none of the defendants has filed statements of defense. The new critical care center in Brandon is nearing completion.
This spring, the new critical care unit is going to start accepting patients.
The center is part of a $120 million redevelopment at Brandon Regional Health Center. It will increase adult intensive care unit capacity from 10 to 16 beds, all of which are private. 12 will come online with the initial opening. The remaining 4 will follow as staffing allows.
Our current ICU is dated. It's small, it's cramped, there's very little privacy. This is a large step forward, and it's going to make a great deal of change, not just for our patients, but for our staff who are caring for these patients.
The larger center also includes better flow and more natural light, as well as a 30-bed internal medicine unit. The critical care center is expected to begin accepting patients in May. A bit of good news for Ukrainian newcomers working in Canada. They now have another year to apply to extend their work permit. But some Ukrainians in Manitoba say this just pushes the issue of permanent residency down the road. CTV's Joseph Bernacki explains.
It's been more than 3 years since Ivan Kutsak fled the war in Ukraine with his family. When he's not volunteering with the Ukrainian Canadian Congress, he works full-time as a call dispatcher. Kutsak says permanent residency has brought stability into his life for the first time in years.
To be honest, it was really shock.
It took 18 months for him, all the while working in Winnipeg. But some people are still waiting.
I know a few families who apply in almost the same time with, like I did, but they're still waiting.
Back in March 2022, Canada welcomed Ukrainians fleeing war. Now, those who arrived under the program, the Canada-Ukraine Authorization for Emergency Travel, or QUIT, will have an extra year to extend their work permits as they wait for permanent residency.
It is a great first step.
Slava Dubchenko, president of the United Ukrainians of Canada, says Tuesday's announcement from the federal government doesn't address the larger issue of attaining permanent residency. Dubchenko believes as many as 200,000 Ukrainians in Canada are working on an open work permit, and those could be cancelled any time.
They can't take their children, take their family, and return back to Ukraine because there is a war.
It's why the Ukrainian Canadian Congress is lobbying the federal government. Joanne Lewandowski, president of the Manitoba chapter, says Tuesday's announcement is hopeful for those waiting to find out their future in Canada.
I am grateful to the Minister of Immigration for this move. I just hope it can help the thousands of people who need this type of assistance.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Get those tackle boxes ready. The 2026 Manitoba Anglers Guide is out. Manitobans between 16 and 64 years of age will pay $28 for an annual license this year. Seniors, people with First Nation status, veterans, and active military members don't require an angling license. The guide highlights important dates and catch limits for the 2026 season, along with new regulations and proposed changes. You can find the guide online at manitobafisheries.com. Team Canada's Matt Dunstone was looking to make it 5 in a row Wednesday as he took on the formidable Swiss team at the World Men's Curling Championship.
Little heavy, they say. Nothing yet. And he's backed right off. They've backed right off. And will it grab enough and stop? Oh my gosh, look at that on its own.
The tension was palpable with that final shot in the 10th end. Dunstone drew to the center to break a tie and lift his Winnipeg-based squad to an 8-7 win. In the Wednesday evening draw, Dunstone's rink beat Czechia 9-5. Round-robin play wraps up today in Utah, with Canada facing Germany this afternoon and then squaring off versus Norway this evening. The top 6 teams will move on to the playoffs. Canada is currently tied for second place with Scotland. All right, here's a look outside now. What's happening at Main and Broadway? It looks like an early start to the drive this morning for a lot of people, as you can see here. Things have really picked up. If you see any problems out on the streets, please let us know when it is safe to do so. Here's a look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.79. The provincial average is at $1.72. In Winnipeg, it's slightly higher at $1.73. And the lowest price in the city is $1.65. All this information is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Coming up, we are live at the Buhler Art Gallery this morning. This is an exhibit involving puppetry. We're going to tell you more with Tandy Vera. Stay with us.
Weather is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arborg, Manitoba.
All right, a very pleasant start to your Thursday morning. We do have a few extra clouds hanging around, but we're getting closer and closer to sunrise, and you can see a little bit of the glow trying to peek from behind those clouds. -1 is where we're sitting right now. A very pleasant and mild, above seasonal even, start to your Thursday morning. -5 would be a normal low, so in that sense, we're doing okay. The breeze is light, 15 clicks. It's out of the east-southeast. The pressure is falling, and the humidity is sitting at 81%. These few clouds, I mean, overall, I'm going to call this mainly cloudy right now, but we might see them breaking up enough through the day that there will be some pockets of sunshine to enjoy. As far as temperatures go, we're still probably going to remain a little bit below seasonal, but cracking the freezing mark and getting closer to those numbers. I know it seems like ages since we've talked about seasonal temperatures, but it's actually been ages since we've been below the freezing mark. So plus digits of any kind seems like a bit of a win, and 2 degrees is where we're headed today with those moments of sunshine here or there. We have Tandy Vera. Yes, sorry, I was about to call her Ainsley. No, Tandy Vera is on location today, filling in for Ainsley. Let's head on over and see where she is and what's going on. Good morning, Tandy.
Hi, Terry, and hello, Manitoba. I'm here at the Show Me Your Hurt exhibit. Sorry, kind of forgot there. And it's a new upcoming exhibit at the Buhler Art Gallery, and I am joined by curator Hannah to discuss more about it. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having us here. Yeah.
Now, can you tell me more about the exhibit, what people can expect, and when it's even happening?
For sure, yeah. The exhibition is going to be launching on Thursday, the 9th of April, 6 to 9. Everyone's welcome, so you should all come. And it's called Show Me Where It Hurts, and it's by Hannah Dissette. And Hannah is originally from Winnipeg. She's no relation, even though we're both Hannahs. And she has been involved in the art community for many years. She got her BFA here, she graduated and she worked for Art City, that much loved institution here. She lived in Toronto, but I've been following her work, and she makes just really interesting, playful, bright, clever, intelligent work. And I thought, when she's been making work to do with healthcare, I've been thinking, oh, she should be coming here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think this is such a perfect setting for that. And kind of chatting more about it, why is it so important to have an exhibit like this in this space?
I think that's a really important question. Yeah, having a gallery in a hospital is all about understanding how health and culture and art, they're all tied up. It's all about well-being. It's about imagination, imaginative spaces. It's about simple things like colour and form and texture, and how being in proximity to art can really transform you. It can take your mind off of things. It can provide a surface for you to reflect complicated experiences with. So having an exhibition like this, which is actually specifically relating to healthcare, so Hannah's going to be working with puppets, which are often used in paediatric healthcare. So being able to communicate with children in a way that they can understand procedures that are going to be performed on their little bodies. And so she's using puppets as a way of talking about bodily autonomy, about power, about agency, but in this way which is very bright and has lots of ways in for people.
That's so beautiful and so deep and filled with so much connection. We're going to be chatting with Hannah later on as well during the show, so you want to stay tuned and stay in.
Here's a look at the early markets. The Dow Jones lost 518 points. The Nasdaq fell 387. The S&P index is 82 points down. The loonie is lower, set to 71.68 cents U.S. Overseas, the Hang Seng is 177 points lower, and the Nikkei plunged 1,276 points. Good morning. It is 6:46. A man is in hospital with serious injuries, and another is in custody following an alleged hit and run in western Manitoba. Mounties say it happened around 2:30 a.m. Tuesday in the small community of Pine River. That's about 75 kilometers northwest of Dauphin. A 36-year-old man was taken to a hospital in Winnipeg in critical condition. RCMP say a 46-year-old man from the community was arrested a few hours later and is charged with failing to stop and impaired operation of a vehicle causing bodily harm. As measles cases continue to spike higher in Manitoba, the province is planning to offer the vaccine in a surprising location, the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair in Brandon.
They're going to be there to meet folks where they're at.
Health Minister Uzuma Azaguera says the province will have a booth set up at the annual event. There, public health officers will be talking about measles and giving out immunizations for people who want to be protected. So far this year, there have been more than 350 confirmed cases of the highly infectious virus in our province. The province says they want to answer any and all questions people might have about vaccines and provide them to those who are interested. One person was taken to hospital following a fire at a West End apartment building Tuesday evening. The city says crews were sent to the 3-story building in the 400 block of Sherbrooke Avenue shortly before 7. The fire was brought under control within about a half hour. However, one person was brought to hospital in unstable condition. The city says everyone else managed to make it safely out of the building. The cause is still under investigation, but is believed to have been contained to the suite where it started. An organization representing physicians in Manitoba is welcoming the province's efforts to recruit and retain doctors. Manitoba is paying a U.S. company to recruit American emergency room physicians for temporary posts, largely in rural and northern communities. Doctors Manitoba says emergency room wait times in the province are about 8.5 hours on average, well above the national rate, and the number of temporary ER closures is also higher. The group's president says Manitoba saw a record net gain in doctors last year, but most were family physicians in Winnipeg, adding that shortages persist in rural areas. Another big development is in the works for southeast Winnipeg.
The site's ideally located right on Fermor, which is the gateway to cottage country and anyone coming in and out of northwestern Ontario, as well as being surrounded by new and mature communities.
Dawson Crossing is expected to fill 119 acres of land just north of Sage Creek. Plans include more than 3,000 residential units. There's also room for big box stores, restaurants, clinics, and other businesses. And lots of parks and green space will be peppered throughout the community. Todd LaBelle from real estate firm Avison Young says Dawson Crossing will help tackle the housing shortage inside the perimeter.
When you look at the vacancy rates in the city, and we're starting to see that houses are being unaffordable for most younger people, we just need to get that supply up there. Building one-off apartments up and down main streets are great, but having a nice dense residential area like this is starting to be more and more common.
LaBelle says full site servicing is expected to be done in 2027. Some of the first buildings in Dawson Crossing could break ground next year as well. You'd be hard-pressed to find Easter eggs fancier than these. Barcelona has 10 chocolate Easter inspired by architect Antonio Gaudi on display. Each egg is made of the city's top pastry chefs. Visitors will get a chance to vote for their favorite egg. The winner earns a spot at Barcelona's Chocolate Museum. The other 9 eggs won't go to waste. They'll be broken and given to local students to eat. Looks so pretty and delicious at the same time. Here are some road closures to remind you about now. This morning, the southbound curb lane on Ingersoll Street will be closed from St. Matthews Avenue to Portage. The southbound median lane on Donald Street will be closed between Notre Dame and Cumberland Avenue, and on Consul Avenue, all lanes will be closed intermittently from Gray to London Street. If you see anything out there, send us a text, please.
-1 is where we're sitting with a bit of a breeze out of the east-southeast. It's 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling. Humidity sitting at 81%. It's looking pretty pleasant. It's feeling pretty pleasant outside this morning. We've actually got above seasonal temperatures to kick off your morning. And with where we're headed throughout the day today, even though we will be a little bit shy of seasonal, it's still going to be very pleasant overall. We do have a few extra clouds hanging around at this time. You can see it's a little bit clearer through parts of central and maybe northern Manitoba. Just a few clouds there, but again, not so many clouds that the sun won't be able to make an appearance for many places. You could be up above the freezing mark and pushing into the plus digits. Churchill will once again be an exception, but even that's still an improvement over the extreme cold that you seem to have been locked in for the past several days. Maybe a little bit of scattered precipitation up in the far northeast, but for a lot of other places, some pockets of sunshine, moments where you'll be basking in it with these very mild and pleasant temperatures expected. Now, it might not be quite as mild here throughout southern Manitoba. We're still going to be below what is normal for this time of year, with 6 degrees being that seasonal high. Nobody is seeing those kind of numbers yet. But we will get, like I said, into the plus digits, at least by a couple degrees, with moderate to light winds and a bit of sunshine too. Northwestern Ontario, nowhere near as lucky as you are, still likely to deal with a little bit of precipitation throughout the day today. We could be seeing some precipitation by Sunday, but the next few days, moments of sunshine and a slow and steady climb with those temperatures before that precipitation arrives by Sunday. Following that, the temperatures dropping off ever so briefly because they will be slowly back on the rise again as we're looking on the other side of the weekend.
Thank you, Terry. Yesterday was April 1st, a day practical jokesters look forward to with some with great delight. But there are some places in Canada that enjoy it more than others. CTV's Garrett Berry with the cities that top the list.
Oh, I've had more than enough of it.
No joke. Just another dump of snow in this unrelenting winter.
It's like Groundhog Day this winter, over and over and over again.
A damper on April Fool's Day in a place that apparently loves a good prank. Gambling company Dual Bits ran an analysis of Google searches, and they found people in St. John's are more likely than anywhere else to search for jokes and pranks. The top hit here, prank calls. Just behind Guelph, looking for fake tattoos, and then Waterloo, Kingston, and Oakville.
I feel like the snow was a big enough joke at this point.
It's been a winter for the history books here in St. John's. More snow fell in February than in any other month on record, and it's just not stopping. Maybe that's the big prank this April Fool's.
My back has gone from out of shoveling from the whole year. It's been so much. Totally over. I'm ready for summer. I was supposed to go on a vacation to Cuba, and that got canceled, so instead I'm shoveling.
It's hard to get in the April Fool's spirit, especially with schools closed, meaning classics like whoopee cushions are out the window.
I love winter. Did lots of snowshoeing during the winter. But April comes and it's time to go somewhere else.
You'll find a lot of people here agree. It's just not funny anymore. Garrett Berry, CTV News, St. John's.
Yeah, we feel the same way. While weather may not stop your mail from arriving, turkeys might.
Usually they leave us alone, but according to my mailman who won't deliver my mail anymore, they're too much to handle.
People in one Wisconsin neighborhood say they're not getting their mail every day because of wild turkeys attacking the mail carriers. Some people consider them kind of like a neighborhood pet, but they're apparently a real pain for others. Everyone's hoping the turkeys move on soon so they don't have to keep going to the post office to get their mail. A skateboarder who lost his vision found a passion for inspiring others and is helping them see what's possible. CTV's Adam Sawatsky shares the story.
Well, Brett Devlo's using a walker for an injury that's temporary.
Yeah. It's so weird having this. I'm so used to using my white cane.
Becoming unexpectedly blind at 16 was permanent.
And I lost my vision, like that, sitting in the middle of history class.
Brett was diagnosed with a rare DNA mutation that blocks 98% of his vision.
It's like having the sun right in the middle of your sight like this. If you look left, it goes left, look right, it goes right, and everything else is really blurry.
But it was clear nothing else would ever be the same.
We all cried for let's call it 5 minutes, and then my first words were, okay, what are we gonna do?
Well, the first thing Brett wanted to do was get back on his beloved skateboard, and thanks to muscle memory, he could.
I had to be much quicker with my reflexes and be way more ready to land on my face.
Well, Brett picked himself up after every fall, and in this video, shot about a year after going blind, he learned how to feel the space and walk the route before flying forward.
It feels great, and it makes me feel like some things don't change. I'm normal when I skate, you know?
Although, 13 years after losing his sight, Brett is finding his life is far better than normal.
I'm pretty grateful I went blind, honestly, because if I could see, I would have just been a regular small-town guy.
Instead, Brett tours Canada and the U.S. as a sponsored skateboarder known as TBK, the blind kid.
Did you see that? Because I didn't.
Works as a motivational speaker in schools and raises money to donate iPads with accessible software to children with vision loss.
Losing my vision kind of just gave me ironically, gave me the sight to see that the world is a lot bigger and there's more out there.
There's more obstacles to overcome, more people to inspire, and no more excuses, Brett says, for not achieving your goals.
Just do it. You can literally just do it. That's it.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Aldergrove.
Here's a look at McPhillip Street now. Things are moving well here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after this with your 7 o'clock headlines. It's Thursday, April 2nd. Today, finger-pointing over payments. Why one nurses group says Manitobans are needlessly paying for services, and the response from the province. Also, minimum wage boost. Find out what the province's plan for this fall and how critics respond to the raise. And a monkey egg hunt. How a zoo in Germany got started with some Easter fun for the animals. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Thursday to you. And it is 7 o'clock. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Now, this is the season where there's a lot of babies around. There's baby bunnies, there's baby kittens, of course. So we're going to actually have a local rescue that is seeing a huge number of kittens come through right now. And they're in desperate need of supplies, money, and of course, anybody who can adopt a kitten. So we're going to have some cute little kittens joining us at about 7:52. We're going to tell you what the situation is and what you can do to support them. But let's talk about the weather.
Okay.
It does feel more spring-like today.
Doesn't it? Yeah, I feel like the last couple of days it's been like, ooh, this is a little more pleasant. But again, it's because we've gotten so used to these well below seasonal temperatures. I mean, March was nasty. I don't think there was more than a day or two that we even reached seasonal values, let alone days where we would have been above normal. So we've been very much adjusting to these cold temperatures, and so as a result, even though it still will be slightly below seasonal today, it's going to feel really pleasant and will likely throughout the weekend. Where we're sitting right now at -1 comes with a slight breeze. It's a 15K wind out of the east-southeast with the pressure falling and the humidity at 81%. The sun is only minutes away from rising. It did seem a little bit dark by that view, but that's just the extra clouds that we have hanging around right now. I think we're going to notice those clouds breaking up, at least at times. I mean, there's going to be times where it looks pretty cloudy today, but then there will be those moments of sunshine, just enough that we're like, oh, That's so nice to see. A little bit of a tease here or there, and a slight tease with the temperatures too, because we will probably get above the freezing mark, but normal highs for this time of year would be several degrees above, around 6 degrees. And those numbers, we're not going to be getting close to them for the next couple of days. We might get a little bit closer through the weekend itself, but like I said, we'll take what we can get. So with moments of sunshine here or there and temperatures just a little bit above the freezing mark, things will certainly start to feel more pleasant than they've been. 2 degrees today, 3 tomorrow, up to 5 degrees by Saturday. And again, little bits of sunshine before another round of precipitation comes with some slightly cooler temperatures, but a bigger drop off comes following after that system passes through. It's not for long. We will make those gains. It'll just take some time, but we're getting a little bit closer to seasonal by the middle of next week again. And our art today seems so fitting for the holiday ahead with the little Easter bunnies there in the foreground. Thanks to me, 11-year-old Mila, for sharing this with us. And now a new way to share your art. So you can go to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and enter your art online. You're not only entering to have your picture shown here on TV, but also to enter to win a $100 gift card from Crock-A-Doodle on Kennison.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crock-A-Doodle Paint Your Own Pottery. Make memories that last forever.
Manitobans may have to continue paying for some health services. Under a federal government directive, provinces had until April 1st to ensure all primary care services provided by nurse practitioners are publicly funded. But as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, the association representing the practitioners says the province has missed the deadline.
Nurse practitioners can diagnose, prescribe medications, and order diagnostics like an MRI, CT scan, or ultrasound. But their association says Manitobans are unnecessarily paying for some of their services out of pocket.
That won't change until there are changes to payment reform for nurse practitioners.
The federal government gave provinces an April 1st deadline to make a change based on a new interpretation of the Canada Health Act. The change allows for primary care provided by nurse practitioners, pharmacists, and midwives, equivalent to a doctor, be covered by provincial health plans. The Nurse Practitioners Association of Manitoba says the province has missed that deadline.
There has not been any uptake. There has not been any push.
The association says nurse practitioners want to run private clinics like doctors do and bill the public system, not patients themselves, which is happening now.
If you are seeking care from a nurse practitioner in a private practice, you will continue to pay out of pocket. And remembering that we live in a society where you don't need to.
Didn't miss the deadline, so our government is actually already ahead of that.
But Manitoba's health minister says the province is aligned with the feds on this.
There are some nurse practitioners who have independent practices who are delivering services, I believe, outside of the Canada Health Act parameters. So that's likely what they're referring to.
The association says they have raised this issue with the minister and they're not sure why the changes are not being made.
Our members have made us known that they will continue to open up more and more private practices because they see the gaps.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
If the deadline has in fact been missed, little will happen, at least right now. Penalties for non-compliance don't come into force until April of next year. An organization representing physicians in Manitoba is welcoming the province's efforts to recruit and retain doctors. Manitoba is paying a U.S. company to recruit American emergency room physicians for temporary posts, largely in rural and northern communities. Doctors Manitoba says emergency room wait times in the province are about 8.5 hours on average, well above the national rate, and the number of temporary ER closures is also higher. The group's president says Manitoba saw a record net gain in doctors last year, but most were family physicians in Winnipeg, adding that shortages persist in rural areas. A man is in hospital with serious injuries and another is in custody following an alleged hit and run in western Manitoba. Mounties say it happened around 2:30 a.m. Tuesday in the small community of Pine River. That's about 75 kilometers northwest of Dauphin. A 36-year-old man was taken to a hospital in Winnipeg in critical condition. RCMP say a 46-year-old man from the community was arrested a few hours later and is charged with failing to stop and impaired operation of a vehicle causing bodily harm. Get those tackle boxes ready. The 2026 Manitoba Anglers Guide is out. Manitobans between 16 and 64 years of age will pay $28 for an annual license this year. Seniors, people with First Nation status, veterans, and active military members don't require an angling license. The guide highlights important dates and catch limits for the 2026 season, along with new regulations and proposed changes. You can find the guide online at manitobafisheries.com. The historic Fort Garry Hotel was honored Wednesday evening by Heritage Winnipeg. It was just one of the winners at the annual Preservation Awards.
And it's just astounding how many heritage buildings have been rehabilitated and now have renewed life and are part of the urban landscape in the city.
It's often easier and cheaper to simply tear down an old building instead of preserving the existing structure. But when organizations or individuals decide to go that extra mile, they qualify for the annual Preservation Awards, now celebrating its 40th year. 2 people and 4 projects were honored with awards. Among this year's winners, the Chessway Apartments project on Chestnut Street got the Residential Conservation Award.
I'm in the business, and even I didn't have a complete understanding of exactly what it would take to accomplish the task, and it was a pretty significant effort.
The Fort Garry Hotel won a Commercial Conservation Award, and a second Commercial Conservation Award was handed out to the Saddlery Building on William Avenue. The Roslyn Square Apartments on Osborne Street were also singled out for a Residential Conservation Award. Plenty of Manitoba businesses and organizations got into the spirit of April Fool's Day on Wednesday, but Winnipeg's baseball team says there's some truth to its prank. The Winnipeg Goldeyes announced its rebranding as the Manitoba Mosquitoes. The team vowed the Mosquitoes will strike fear, irritation, and mild itching into the hearts of opponents everywhere. Of course, the fake name change was all in good fun, sort of. The organization is actually rebranding as the Manitoba Mosquitoes for one night only on July 31st at Blue Cross Park, complete with special jerseys and hats. Here's a look at what's happening now on Kenaston and Sterling Lion Way. It looks like things are moving quite well this Thursday morning. If you see anything out there, please give us a heads up.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford has come out against any potential agreements between Stellantis and China's Zhejiang Leapmotor Technology, a company in which Stellantis owns a 20% stake, to manufacture electric vehicles in a Stellantis facility in Brampton, Ontario. Bloomberg is reporting Ford says he is dead against it unless the companies source parts locally. Europe's diesel futures rose to the highest level since 2022 as the Iran war hit supplies of the fuel that powers the global economy. Futures traded as high as $200, more than $200 a barrel, as they surged as much as 9.7% in London. The war in the Middle East has cut off millions of barrels of supplies of refined products like diesel. Crude oil prices in London, in fact, have jumped about 50%, and some refiners have had to throttle back the output of fuels. Traders around the world are scrambling for supplies, with shipments of diesel being diverted and sent on epic journeys of more than 20,000 kilometers. Those are your morning business headlines. For B&M Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Let's go back now to Tandy Vera, who's live at the Buehler Art Gallery at St. Boniface Hospital this morning. Hi, Tandy.
Hi, Rochelle. I'm checking out the new exhibit called Show Me Where It Hurts, and it's currently mid-installation, and it features fabric flowers, bright colors, and finger puppets. So it's a really fun, playful, and unique exhibit to check out, and it explores the relationship that children have with hospitals and illnesses, and honestly just healthcare. Because imagine being a child in a hospital. You know, you don't have any control over what's happening around you. You might not understand it. So this exhibit just connects that and translates that situation to the kids in a playful, bright, and unique manner. And it's also a perfect setting for the place for the exhibit to happen, because it's, again, in the hospital. And if anyone wants to come by, maybe they're having a bad day and they just want to check out, have a moment of reflection, and just check in and see something bright. This is a perfect place to be. So we're going to be chatting with the artist later on during the show.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Tandy. Let's go out to the rooftop now. How's it feeling out there, Terry?
Pleasant, honestly, and now the sun is up, so it's looking good. 7:04 was official sunrise this morning. I shouldn't say it's looking good. I'm not talking about the sunshine. I mean, the day overall is looking good. More so, I suppose, it's feeling good because the heavier clouds are still here. I can't actually see that sun, but there's a little more glow of the brightness that will be reflecting. And I am pretty optimistic there will be more pockets of sunshine as these clouds break up and clear at times throughout the day. It's -1 right now, feels like -7 with a bit of a breeze that's 19 kilometers per hour out of the east. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 77%. So central Manitoba is probably our brightest spot in the province right now. Parts of northern Manitoba do have a few extra clouds, and yes, here in the south we're certainly seeing mainly cloudy conditions for now, but as I mentioned, with those clouds breaking up, moving around, moments of sunshine just to give us a little bit of hope, I suppose. Those temperatures too might give us a little bit of hope that spring could in fact be around the corner. We're still not getting anywhere near seasonal. 6 degrees would be a normal daytime high here through southern Manitoba, and most of us will be around 1, maybe 2 degrees too expected in Winnipeg. Parts of northern Manitoba could be getting up to 3, 4 degrees, so a couple degrees surpassing where we're headed here in the south. And we will slowly make a few more gains as we're moving on into the weekend. A little bit of sunshine or pockets of it here or there over the next few days, but do expect another round of precipitation to be passing through Sunday.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
It's time now for our question of the day. Today we want to know, what is your favorite space movie or space TV show? You can text your answer to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response, and don't forget to include your name, please.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic. Science-backed body contouring.
Well, it's time to reveal our pet of the week. This week, we're celebrating best buddies Chan Nellie Belly and Smurfy Murphy. Chan Nellie just turned 17, but she is still as playful as a baby kitten. And Murphy is a short hair wiener dog. They enjoy a good wrestling match. And thanks, Meryl, for sharing this photo, and congratulations to this adorable duo. We love your pet of the week submissions, so keep them coming, please. Share a photo and a fun story of your pet, dog, cat, bird, or any other buddy at petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and make sure to watch Thursdays to see if your pet is named our pet of the week. We're going to take a quick break now. We'll be back right after this. Good morning. The minimum wage in Manitoba is going up this fall. The province will boost the minimum wage by 40 cents to $16.40 an hour, effective October 1st. The increase is based on Manitoba's inflation rate in 2025. However, some labor advocates say the hike falls short.
$16 going up to $16.40. Any increase is good for minimum wage workers, but they deserve better. You know, when you work full time, you shouldn't have to live in poverty. And right now, Manitoba has a working poor problem. Over 40,000 workers make minimum wage in our province, and they live below the poverty line. They don't make enough to meet their basic needs. That needs to change. We think that minimum wage should be a living wage.
The Manitoba Federation of Labor says data shows workers need to earn close to $20 an hour just to meet basic needs. And its president, Kevin Rebeck, wants the Canoe government to change laws to allow larger minimum wage increases. A police pursuit of a stolen beer truck in Indiana came to a dramatic end. Police body cam video shows the truck, stolen from a nearby liquor store, smashing into a police cruiser, then veering off the road and coming to a stop. Officers used pepper balls to get the suspect out, then made the arrest. The driver is facing multiple charges, including attempted murder and auto theft. The island of Crete in Greece was draped in a remarkable orange hue. This orange haze is formed when strong winds push sand and dust particles from the Sahara in North Africa across the Mediterranean. Local media reported the dust caused some incoming flights to divert to other airports. The dust comes as the storm front passes through Greece, bringing rain and strong winds. Have you ever seen monkeys on an egg hunt? Well, here you go. This is a zoo in Germany. The monkeys were finding, peeling, and eating a number of boiled eggs. The zookeepers also filled some eggs with grains and seeds. They also prepared some Easter fun for the lions at the zoo. Very cool. Here's a look at what's happening in traffic now along Osborne Street. Looks still quite light in this part of the city. If you see any traffic delays or problems out there, please let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
The Winnipeg International Jazz Festival is inviting you to groove together and discover new sounds.
Unforgettable experiences centered around some of the best live music in the world.
The 35th festival will feature fiery Latin rhythms, swinging standards, and sophisticated sounds from 50 artists from 8 countries. Marquee shows will feature Molly Johnson, Soul Supreme's D'Angelo Tribute, the Miles Electric Band's Miles Davis 100th celebration, and the youngest son of the first family of jazz, Jason Marsalis. The Jazz at the Fort Garry Club series brings together classic and new music. There's also a special co-presentation with the Winnipeg Folk Festival, a high school honor band program, and a special trio show featuring members of the Cat Empire.
There really is a lot to discover here, and some of these projects are coming together just as one-offs, and it's a chance to see something really unique partnerships, collaborations.
Old Market Square will once again feature 6 days of free outdoor programming. The Winnipeg International Jazz Festival hits the stage June 16th to the 21st. Taylor Swift is facing a lawsuit over her latest album. An actual Las Vegas showgirl is suing Swift over the singer's use of the life of a showgirl. Marin Flagg says in the trademark infringement lawsuit that the glittery branding of Swift's 2025 album comes too close to the aesthetic of her own Confessions of a Showgirl. That's the name of a column she wrote on Backstage Sin City Life starting in 2014 and eventually turned into a live tour. Swift's stadium-packing 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, sold 4 million copies in its first week. Wade is seeking a permanent injunction blocking Swift from using the phrase, as well as damages, profits, and attorney's fees. A representative for Swift declined to comment. Your primetime lineup this Thursday kicks off at 7 with Next Level Chef. 911 Nashville comes next at 8. Grey's Anatomy is on at 9. And closing things out at 10, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Primetime Lineup is brought to you by the Children's Rehabilitation Foundation.
And a look now through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. Dark only from the extra clouds. The sun is technically up now. It's just risen and tucked up behind those clouds, which might be clearing out at times throughout the day today. So moments of sunshine should at least bring a little bit of brightness and perhaps then optimism to our day. And the temperatures themselves are also quite pleasant, above seasonal to kick things off. -1 is where we're sitting right now in Winnipeg, with similar temperatures throughout the south, -2, -3, but overall -5, that would be a normal low temperature. So we are all above that. Up into northern Manitoba, and you can see things are just slightly cooler into those minus double digits, or for Churchill, minus teens. That's still an improvement over where you've been. And in fact, northern Manitoba could be surpassing southern Manitoba with where those temperatures are going to end up today. 3-4 degrees seem to be the averages through much of southern Manitoba, whereas closer to 1-2 degrees here throughout the south. Yes, we've got the heavier clouds sticking around for now, but as the day goes on, some moments of sunshine as those clouds clear and break up briefly. As far as the temperatures go, yes, it's going to be another below seasonal day, but an improvement over where we've been. And relatively speaking, I think it'll actually feel all right, especially in the days ahead when it gets a little bit warmer yet, up to 5 degrees by Saturday. Sunday still into those plus digits, but a round of precipitation causing those temperatures to fall off on the other side, only briefly, because into next week we'll see the mercury on the rise again. Our weather picture today absolutely made my jaw drop. Absolutely stunning. Thank you for sharing this with us, Wayne. And keep the photos coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
April 2nd, 1992. New York crime boss John Gotti was convicted of murder and racketeering. Known as the Dapper Don for his natty attire and the Teflon Don because charges couldn't stick, Gotti was later sentenced to life in prison and died in prison in 2002. April 2nd, 2005. Pope John Paul II died at the age of 84 after a 26-year reign as head of the Roman Catholic Church. Polish-born John Paul was the first non-Italian pope in over 450 years. He celebrated a mass for close to 200,000 worshippers at Manitoba's Birds Hill Park in September of 1984. April 2nd, 2007. The northern Manitoba town of Leaf Rapids became the first Canadian community to ban plastic bags. The bylaw was intended to reduce litter in the community. Violators could be fined up to $1,000 per day. The ban in Leaf Rapids inspired similar measures in Snow Lake, Thompson, and the Paw. New England Patriots quarterback Drake May has shaved his head for a good cause. His wife Anne took the first few swipes before handing over the clippers to a real pro. His new look is part of Saving by Shaving, a charity event meant to benefit the Boston Children's Hospital, specifically to support pediatric research and treatments. An unlikely collision in San Francisco Bay left a windsurfer with a whale of a tale to share with his friends. This wild video shows the gray whale surfacing right in the path of the surfer who toppled off his board and into the bay. The whale disappeared back into the water and the surfer appeared to be unharmed. Well, it's time now for this week's Adorable Adoptables. We begin with Stewie. He is a 2-year-old good boy with love for a cuddle session or laying nearby to keep you company. Stewie got a snort that will brighten any day and is so much fun to hang out with. Next up is Abigail. This friendly and playful girl has a loving personality. She adores attention, especially pets, and a good butt scratch, and is happiest when she's close to her people. And meet Franklin, a sweet 3-year-old cat who enjoys quiet moments. This loving friend would thrive in a calm environment where he can slowly explore his surroundings. If you think you can offer any of these animals a good home, just head down to the Winnipeg Humane Society or give them a call. The number is there on your screen. Looking for inspiration on your home projects? Well, Your Morning Winnipeg has a contest that could help. The Winnipeg Home and Garden Show runs April 9th to the 12th at the RBC Convention Center, and we have a few prizes to give away, and this is your last chance to walk away with a $500 gift card, 4 tickets to the show with VIP seating, and a meet and greet with Brian Baumler. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvwinnipeg.ca, and don't forget to enter the keyword home. Good luck. Coming up, you're looking at a finger puppet. This is part of an exhibit at the Buehler Art Gallery at the St. Boniface Hospital. We're going to tell you more about what's going on here. Stay with us. Let's go back now to Tandy Vera, who's live at the St. Boniface Buehler Art Gallery, and you could have some fun with some puppets this morning. Good morning, Tandy.
Hi, Rochelle, and yes, we're going to have lots of fun with some puppets this morning. I'm joined by artist and creator Hannah Doucette. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Now, this is such a interesting, unique, I keep saying the word unique, exhibit, and I just want to talk about how the idea came about for you.
Yeah, thanks so much. So I had a childhood illness. I was in treatment for cancer for 2.5 years, between the ages of 8 to 10. So a lot of my work kind of comes out of reflecting on that experience. And specifically with this show, I'm really interested in the ways that puppetry shows up in pediatric healthcare spaces. So it's kind of used sometimes as a tool to distract kids during something intense happening, or it can be used as a means to kind of, you show on the puppet what's going to happen to kids. So it's used in all these different ways, but I also thought it was interesting to think about, you know, puppetry. There's you know, a puppet, there's a creature that you're kind of animating and something is happening to it without its kind of control, it loses control. So thinking about that as a bit of a metaphor for, you know, when you're sick as a kid, you don't really have control, how you kind of try to gain agency within that experience. And so there's kind of these themes of agency within the experience of illness, but then also I think it's kind of covered in this like bright, playful way. So there's different entry points for people to look at the work. Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful and also very deep and meaningful with so much connection. And right now you're mid-installation. Can you talk us through the process right now, how it's going? You mentioned that your dad's helping you.
Yeah, sorry, I wish everything was up and looked cool for you to look at, but we're kind of working specifically, me and my dad have been working together to make a bit of a frame for this giant puppet theater that's going to be in the gallery. So I was kind of thinking of almost this like child's small hand kind of puppet theater that's inflated really big in the gallery, and you feel like you're almost like shrunk down. So me and my dad have been working together. It's really cool because he worked at the hospital for 40 years, or almost 40 years, and so now he's back. He's been going over to the ER to like say hi to his friends over there, and then coming back and helping me build things. But yeah, it's been going really well. I'm excited to kind of transform the gallery into this weird puppet space where people kind of feel shrunken down, but then also get to feel like they're kind of entering into a space of performance.
That's beautiful. Well, we're going to chat with you more later on during the show, so you want to stay tuned in, and thank you for joining us so far. Yeah.
Thank you, Tandy. All right, and let's talk about the weather. It's going to be spring-like today.
I think so. I mean, even if it is a little bit shy of seasonal, it's certainly going to feel better than it's been with these small improvements that we're going to see day after day after day into the start of the weekend. So -1 is where we're sitting right now with a 19K wind out of the east. The pressure is rising. The humidity is sitting at 77%. We are still dealing with some heavier clouds and likely will at times throughout the day today, but then there will be moments where those clouds break up and clear and we get to enjoy a little bit of sunshine busting out from behind them. And the temperatures themselves, I mean, for the morning at least, they are above seasonal. It's just that into the afternoon, we're not going to be making very impressive gains, so we're going to remain below seasonal with our expected highs for today. For example, 2 degrees is where we're probably going to top out, and 6 is now a normal daytime high. So we're not reaching the daytime highs, but we are above normal lows because seasonal lows would actually be around -5. We're at -1 this morning. This coming night could drop to -3. Again, heavier clouds, but breaking up at times. That's pretty much the case for the next few days. So tomorrow, again, 3 degrees with some moments of sunshine. Yes, there will be some heavier clouds, but like I said, the improvements will take any little bit because it all comes to an end on Sunday when some precipitation passes through. Not that the temperatures are looking bad Sunday, still up into the plus digits, but following that we will be dropping off briefly, however, because by Tuesday and then into Wednesday, we're back up above the freezing mark once again.
As measles cases continue to spike higher in Manitoba, the province is planning to offer the vaccine in a surprising location, the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair in Brandon.
They're going to be there to meet folks where they're at.
Health Minister Uzuma Azaguera says the province will have a booth set up at the annual event. There, public health officers will be talking about measles and giving out immunizations for people who want to be protected. So far this year, there have been more than 350 confirmed cases of the highly infectious virus in our province. The province says they want to answer any and all questions people might have about vaccines and provide them to those who are interested. Sextortion cases in Winnipeg are on the rise. Police received 223 extortion reports last year. That's up from just 19 reports in 2020. Police are sharing tips on how to protect yourself and your children.
I believe that there is a large amount of kids and even adults. They can be all the way up to 24 because they're targeted. That's what the target range is usually to young adults. They don't report it because of fear, anxiety. They don't want anybody to know. So a lot of them will keep complying. But yeah, it is on the rise.
Sextortion often involves a perpetrator convincing the victim to send them intimate images online, and then the perpetrator threatens to share them unless money, gift cards, or more pictures are provided. Police say about 87% of victims in cases reported to the service's Internet Child Exploitation Unit are boys. In those incidents, victims are typically targeted by strangers who develop a relationship with them, often using social media, and it all happens in a matter of days or weeks.
Know what their child is doing on the internet. If they're on social media, if they're on gaming platforms, maybe get to know the platforms they're on. There's so many different ones, so it's tough for parents. But I think the major thing they can do is make sure that parents know what their kids are doing online, who their friends are, and if they're communicating with somebody they don't know, ask your child who it is.
Police have launched an online video series to educate the public on how they can protect themselves and what to do if they're targeted. Police say many victims are unaware of the legal protections and supports that exist. Those targeted or victimized are urged to contact police or report the incident through cybertips.ca. And as you heard the detective say, you should talk to your kids about what they're doing online. Don't be surprised if your grocery bills start going up because of rising fuel costs impacting the supply chain.
Death of 1,000 cuts. You know, everywhere you go, everything is a few cents more.
We're already getting notifications of price increases, and in some cases, some of the distributors of products are tapping on surcharges, fuel surcharges.
The Canadian Federation of Independent Grocers says shoppers should brace for higher prices. And maybe you've already seen a spike as some retailers admit they just can't absorb the rising costs. Experts say just how much of the shipping costs will be passed on to shoppers depends on what's being shipped. They also expect prices to remain inflated months after a potential end to the war. The parents of a Quebec teen who died after drinking a can of Red Bull are continuing to fight for change.
What we're living right now, nobody
has to go through that.
15-year-old Zachary Meron died in 2024 while on a school ski trip in the Laurentians. The combination of his ADHD medication and the energy drink caused a fatal arrhythmia. Since then, his parents have campaigned to ban the sale of energy drinks to anyone under 18 or at least under 16, and their petition had already gathered nearly 15,000 signatures. Yesterday, they also met with Quebec's Minister of Health and Social Services, who said she is open to banning energy drinks for minors. She said she plans to take concrete steps before the end of the parliamentary session in June. There's a number of 17th century tapestries now on display at the Vatican. They're meant to mark 400 years since the dedication of St. Peter's Basilica. In order for visitors to better understand how they're made, a replica of the original cardboard used to sew one of the tapestries is on display as well. That is so cool. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning. The southbound curb lane on Ingersoll Street will be closed from St. Matthews Avenue to Portage. The southbound median lane on Donald Street will be closed between Notre Dame and Cumberland Avenue. And on Consul Avenue, all lanes will be closed intermittently from Greater London Street. If you see any issues out in traffic, please send us a text at 10400. Here's a look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.79. The provincial average is slightly lower at $1.72. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.73, and the lowest price in the city is $1.65. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your car today.
-1. Ooh, look at that little break in the clouds. A glimmer of sunshine for us to enjoy this morning. It feels like -7, although winds really aren't a factor when we're dealing with temperatures as mild as they are this morning. Those winds at the moment are out of the east, 19 kilometers per hour, with the pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 77%. So moments of sunshine is pretty much what we can expect throughout the day today. And yeah, moments, like I said, of sunshine. It is going to seem a little bit on the darker side overall, though. Here's a look at the satellite image, and we can see some heavier clouds hanging around. There will be a little brighter day across parts of northern Manitoba. Not just a brighter day, a slightly milder day. Look at where some of these temperatures are headed. 3-4 degrees. Those are some averages that we're going to be seeing through much of the north. I mean, Churchill is obviously an exception, not only with the lack of sunshine, but some slightly cooler temperatures. But again, relatively speaking, that's still an improvement over where they've been. 3-4 degrees, like I said, averages throughout northern Manitoba, which might even surpass southern Manitoba because we're closer to the freezing mark today. You can see 1 or maybe 0 degrees in throughout the south, with some heavier clouds likely to linger in some places. And yes, moments of sunshine. We'll take any moment we can get. There could even be a little bit of scattered precipitation for anybody right along that southern border. Northwestern Ontario, even more likely to see some of that precipitation throughout the day today. 2 degrees today, 3 tomorrow, up to 5 degrees by Saturday. So the gains will be slow but steady. Now 6 degrees is a normal daytime high, and we're still not quite reaching those numbers. Sunday, expect to see a little bit of precipitation passing through, and then following that system, the temperatures will be dropping off briefly below the freezing mark, but by Tuesday back up to 0, and then making those gains as we continue on through next week.
Thank you, Terry. Let's go now to Tandy Vera, who is holding a puppet this morning. Puppets can go a long way easing a kid's anxiety when they're in the hospital. Good morning.
Hi, Rochelle. I'm holding a snail. And I'm joined again by artist Hannah, and we're going to chat a bit more about the process about making these beautiful, unique puppets. So, Hannah, walk me through the process. How did you create these beautiful puppets?
Thanks for putting one on. I love it. Yeah, so each one is kind of unique, and I took a different process. I sew a lot in my practice, so they're all sewn puppets. Each one kind of, I was a bit intuitive, and I'd look up lots of different pictures of the actual, creatures, so like a snail, but then also maybe look up like different snail stuffed toys and like how they'd been kind of constructed, and I'd come up with my own design for how I wanted to make them. But then all of them are very painstakingly kind of like sewn together. It took quite a while. Some of them have some little interactive elements. So this one, the worm can kind of pop out, which I love. But it was really fun. I love to sew, but I don't love to like follow patterns per se, so I liked that I got to kind of develop each one uniquely and like come up with a different design for each of them, and that was really fun. And then they're all kind of stuffed and have obviously a hole for the finger to go in. So in the display they're going to actually be sitting on little like long dowels, so that kind of suggests a finger. Yeah,
that's so cool and so fun. I love the worm popping out. That is amazing. And just walk me through as well, like the shapes and the colors that you went through designing and choosing. It plays a significant role with the exhibit. Can you chat more about that?
Yeah, so specifically all of the finger puppets are kind of elements drawn from a traditional still life. So traditional still life paintings, they would often they'd have many different significances, but specifically they often would be a memento mori, which is kind of a reminder of life, but also a reminder of death. And because, you know, the apple would be decomposing, or there'd be a fly resting on a flower, and just this reminder that that, you know, nothing lasts forever. So I specifically wanted to, because I'm thinking about illness, and kind of address that idea of the memento mori, but in this really strange way with these finger puppets. So that's kind of how I arrived at all of these different shapes. And then I love color, so I always incorporate lots of color.
Love the color. So bright, so playful. Love it. We're going to have more on during the show, but yeah, great time. So much fun.
Indeed. Thank you, Tandy. U.S. President Donald Trump has said he's strongly considering pulling out of NATO, calling the alliance a paper tiger. But any withdrawal would require congressional approval. And joining us now with more is CTV's Kamil Karamali. Good morning, Kamil.
Yeah, good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump gave an update on the situation in Iran last night. Give us some of the highlights from then.
Yeah, and really expressing anger and disdain at U.S. allies for what he says is not supporting the U.S. operation in Iran, really saying that he framed the issue as a failure of allies to reciprocate and support the U.S., especially the military. Now, the speech comes amid the ongoing U.S.-Israel conflict with Iran, where European countries have largely declined direct involvement, and he signaled a broader shift in U.S. foreign policy posture, less automatic support for allies and more conditional cooperation. And as you mentioned, a lot of anger at the NATO allies, saying that he is disgusted with NATO, and frustration that European countries refuse to support U.S. actions related to Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. Now, as you mentioned, this comes as he has made some very harsh comments against NATO, calling it a paper tiger, and threatening to withdraw from NATO. That would be a huge blow to the organization, given that the U.S. is a powerhouse within the NATO ally countries. So Trump saying that he sees, by calling it a paper tiger, saying in some way that he sees it as weak, ineffective, not credible militarily. And he said that he is, quote, strongly considered pulling the U.S. out of NATO. Now, you touched on this. Is there any seriousness to this withdrawal threat? Can he actually do that? What we know based off of the U.S. law is that in 2023, U.S. law requires Congress, 2/3 of it, to approve to withdraw from NATO. So legal experts say right now it's unclear whether a president could bypass this and trigger the U.S. leaving NATO for now.
Okay, well, thanks for the update to this. Kamil Karamali reporting live this morning. Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 70th birthday week, Rosie, from your family and friends at Finn's and the gang at North 40 Ranch, and Buddy, of course. Happy 15th birthday, Cassie, with love from your dad. Happy 71st birthday, Terry, from Alex in Maryland. Happy 60th birthday, Brian, also known as Shorty, from friends and family. Happy 69th birthday, Barbara, from family and friends. And a happy 10th birthday to Asher. Love Mom, Dad, Gavin, Blake, and Vince. To submit your milestone, please visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff, Winnipeg's balloon headquarters with 3 locations.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
All right, 2 degrees, that is likely where we're headed today with our temperatures. And that's going to be fairly pleasant feeling, especially compared to where we've been. It is still shy of seasonal. 6 degrees would be normal for this time of year. Now, last year we didn't quite get there. In fact, we might even surpass where we got to last year at 1.7 degrees, but back in 1988, oof, 16.9. And those are the temperatures I am dreaming of. I think a lot of us are really eager to see or feel some more spring-like weather. Well, relatively speaking, compared to where we've been, it is starting to feel a little more spring-like, even though these temperatures over the next stretch of days are still going to remain below normal, because 6 degrees is that normal daytime high, and we're not going to get there today. But we are starting out above seasonal lows. -5 would be normal, and we're beginning at -1 with an east wind, 19 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 77%. We do have some heavier clouds hanging over us. Parts of central Manitoba, things are looking a little bit brighter. And parts of northern Manitoba will even see a little more sunshine today, and even some slightly milder temperatures. 3-4 degrees are the averages that'll be reached across much of northern Manitoba, compared to the 1 or 2 degrees that are likely going to be reached here in southern Manitoba. So slightly cooler temperatures, but again, at least we're up into the plus digits. Tomorrow, maybe a degree warmer. Saturday, a couple degrees warmer yet. So we are slowly making some gains. Sunday's the day that you can expect another round of precipitation. And then following that, the temperature will drop off briefly before it begins to rise again as we continue through next week.
It's spring, and you know what that means. It's baby season in the animal kingdom, and that means animal rescues are seeing an influx in kittens, including the Winnipeg Kitten Adoption, who's already overloaded with cats. And joining us now from Winnipeg Kitten Adoption are Jennifer Kasprick and David Dooley. I'm holding Fork, you're holding Whisk, and you're holding Spoon. These are beautiful little kittens. It's the season, right? Tell us what's happening right now.
It is. So we're getting literally 5-6 people asking us to take in cats, kittens, pregnant moms daily. And right now we just don't have fosters. So as long as we had fosters, we could be bringing them in.
Yeah.
But we just don't.
So how many kittens do you have right now?
Cats and kittens, we have easily over 100, 120 right now, and kitten season has just started.
So you're expecting way more than that.
Yeah.
And so what is it you're doing in order to feed them, to house
We're
them?
fundraising, so we have cash calendars coming up, and we take monetary donations through e-transfer. And then it's events. So we just had an adoption event, and we sell craft items and things like that. And
What do you want
they cost a lot.
I guess so. And I mean, this little guy, she's so cute.
Yeah.
What do you want?
And she's little for her age. So that's another thing that's happening this year. Is she's 8-week-old kitten, and she's only 600 grams.
Okay, so let's talk about this litter.
So this litter came from an overpopulation situation, and a very kind-hearted person rescued 3 cats about 3 years ago, and the situation quickly turned because of lack of spay and neuter. And the first 2 days we were there, we pulled 31 out, and we are going back to pull the last 20-something out.
Oh my
so we
gosh.
pulled all the females and cats, or females and kittens first, and we vaccinated all the males, and now we are going to be getting all the males neutered, and then hope to find them loving homes.
So this little one, she's small, but she's ready for a home right now?
She probably will be ready in about 10 days, I'm betting. She
Okay.
just needs to gain this litter needs to just gain some weight. So
look at their faces.
With our rescue, it's 8 weeks and about 950 grams, because that just gets them. Anytime cats move to a new home or whatever, there's like always an adjustment period, a stress period, and that just gives them enough poundage to
get
deal
to
with
a
it.
good space. Okay, so let's talk about what people can do to support you right now. Obviously, money is always a thing you could use, but what else do you need?
Yeah, so the big thing right now is actually fosters. Getting homes for the cats temporarily is a big thing while we get them permanent homes. We have, as Jen mentioned, a cash calendar fundraiser starting in April, where we're giving away cash every day in the month of June, so you can pick up one of those. E-transfer donations, and if you want to drop off cat food, we also have a few different drop-off locations for food, litter, that kind of thing.
Amazon wish list as well. We have an Amazon wish list on our Facebook page and on our website as well.
So if someone is interested in being a foster or maybe even adopting a kitten right now, what should they do?
Yeah, head to the website. First step is always the application, either for foster or for adoption, and it goes to our vetting coordinator. Sorry, not vetting coordinator. Sorry, to our adoption coordinator, who has a look at them and does all the approvals. Any fosters, once they are approved, they come to me. We find them some animals, and I work closely with Jen to make sure that we can bring in as many as we can and get them into foster care and permanent homes.
Okay, let's get a close-up of this little face. Just so you know, this little one is Fork.
Yes.
There's also Whisk and Spoon. Look at this. I'm going to go this way. Look at the camera, sweetheart. There you go. She needs a home. If you can help support even a foster home is so grateful. And if anybody wants more information, we have a link on our website.
Absolutely.
Thank you, little one.
Thank you.
Community Connection is brought to you by Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Born to be a hero, trained to be a plumber.
Hey there, Lindsay Hamilton inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Wednesday. We are going to Toronto for this one. It's the Jays and Rockies. Jordan Beck chops one off the mound. Ernie Clements there goes behind the back to Andres Jimenez for the force out. What a play from Clement. Improvises on the run. Jimenez just going to scoop that up. That's some real nice defense from the Jays and worthy of your must-see moment. Meanwhile, today on TSN, World Men's Curling Championship is Canada taking on Germany. Coverage beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's all for now from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a terrific Thursday.
The TSN Must-See Moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
It's Thursday, April 2nd, boldly going where humanity hasn't been in over 5 decades. The first mission to the moon in over 50 years lifts off successfully, and this time there's a distinctly Canadian dimension. Who should be paying for certain services? That question has nurse practitioners asking whether the province has actually missed a key deadline imposed by Ottawa. And talk about parking on a hill. This beetle's precarious perch is bugging residents and officials alike in British Columbia. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Thursday, and it's 8 o'clock. Tonight, Terry, I'm going to see Project Hail Mary with my family. I'm really excited to see it. Well, there is a Manitoba connection to a cardigan that Ryan Gosling is wearing in the movie. It's really getting a lot of traction online. People are trying to get this cardigan sweater. They're trying to get the knit pattern, all of it. It's really getting a lot of attention. Well, its origins came from Manitoba. A woman named Mary Maxim Chuck. Her pattern, we're going to have the Mary Maxim sweaters. There's a whole bunch that we're going to show you at about 8:15. You're going to want to find out a little bit more about that. I know it's so cool.
This is cool.
And we're going to find out a little bit more about the history as well and its connection to Sifton, Manitoba.
All right.
So stay tuned for that. Let's talk about the weather, though. It's a good start to the long weekend.
It's a better start than it's been, so we're going to run with that. Are we going to reach seasonal temperatures? No. But is it better than it's been? Yes, absolutely. Not as far as the sunshine goes. You can see we're still dealing with some heavier clouds this morning. -1, though. That's pretty much as mild as it's been for wake-up temperatures. East winds are 19 kilometers per hour. With the pressure rising, the humidity is sitting at 77%. Those heavier clouds hanging around, they will likely clear out at times today, so hoping to see some breaks and letting moments of sunshine through. Brighter conditions are expected through central and parts of northern Manitoba, and with those brighter conditions will also come some slightly milder temperatures. Northern Manitoba, many places could be surpassing southern Manitoba with where those temperatures are headed today. Yes, on the cloudier side, but pockets of sunshine here or there, obviously more through central and northern Manitoba, but only for today because tomorrow things could be clouding over a little more so throughout northern Manitoba, beginning to clear out through the more southern stretch of the province. Saturday is probably going to be our warmest day yet, so looking forward to that. Following that, though, Sunday could be bringing a round of precipitation, and then After that precipitation passes by, temperatures do tend to plummet following a system, and that's exactly what we're seeing, why Holiday Monday is looking to be as cool as it is. So slow gains up to 5 degrees. Dropping slightly with the precipitation, dropping more as that system clears out, but then we're on the rise again. And by about the middle of next week, we're seeing sunshine and mild temperatures all over again. I love this very spring-like painting that Mila has done for us. How fitting for Easter with those Easter bunnies. And we'd love to see more of your art. So you can now send it through our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. And when you enter, you're not only getting a chance to have your art shown here on TV, also enter to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle on Kenniston.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle Paint Your Own Pottery. Make memories that last forever.
Manitobans may have to continue paying for some health services. Under a federal government directive, provinces had until April 1st to ensure all primary care services provided by nurse practitioners are publicly funded. However, the association representing the practitioners says the province has missed the deadline.
If you are seeking care from a nurse practitioner in a private practice, you will continue to pay out of pocket. And remembering that we live in a society where you don't need to.
Nurse practitioners can diagnose, prescribe medications, and order diagnostics like an MRI, CT scan, or ultrasound. The federal government gave provinces an April 1st deadline to make a change to allow for primary care provided by nurse practitioners, pharmacists, and midwives, equivalent to a doctor, to be covered by provincial health plans. The Nurse Practitioners Association in Manitoba says the province has missed the deadline, and some patients are still paying out of pocket. But Manitoba's health minister says the province is aligned with the feds on this.
There are some nurse practitioners who have independent practices who are delivering services, I believe, outside of the Canada Health Act parameters. So that's likely what they're referring to.
If the deadline has in fact been missed, little will happen, at least right now. Penalties for non-compliance don't come into force until April of next year. The Artemis spacecraft is orbiting the Earth right now after yesterday's historic launch.
3, 2, 1, booster ignition, and liftoff.
Integrity, good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch.
It was a smooth blast off from Kennedy Space Center in Florida minutes after the launch window opened. 4 astronauts are now on their way to the moon. They are mission specialist Jeremy Hansen and Christina Cook. Jeremy Hansen is the Canadian on board, pilot Victor Glover, and Commander Reed Wiseman. This was Commander Wiseman's update shortly after blastoff.
Jeremy is hard at work in cabin configuration. It was an amazing ride uphill. The views, we've got 2 moon rises that we've had so far, and the views of planet Earth, we've circled it completely, and we forgot how beautiful it is to look down on Earth.
So what are the astronauts up to right now? Well, the spacecraft's toilet was having an issue. The crew reported a blinking fault light, but they were able to fix it by troubleshooting with mission control. So now the crew is napping. They are scheduled to sleep for 4 hours, wake up at around 7 a.m. Eastern for an orbital adjustment, then sleep again for another 4 hours. Wake up time should be around 1 p.m. Eastern. Adding to the excitement of the Artemis launch, an entire country is now celebrating Jeremy Hansen's history-making mission.
Canada, I am thinking of you, and I am hoping that all of you see your greatness reflected in this journey around the moon. I'm just so proud of all of you.
Hansen recorded this message from Earth hours before the launch. The 50-year-old from London, Ontario, is serving as the mission specialist for Artemis 2 and will become the first non-American to travel beyond low Earth orbit. King Charles sent his best wishes to Hansen before the launch, saying in part, quote, "As the first Canadian to venture to the moon, you carry not only the hopes of your fellow Canadians and the Commonwealth, but also the aspirations of humanity itself." And Prime Minister Mark Carney says he spoke to U.S. President Donald Trump last night about the successful launch, writing on X that, quote, "We discussed the courage of the astronauts, including Colonel Jeremy Hansen, the value of cooperation in space, and developments in the Middle East conflict." There's been an arrest in an ongoing crackdown on extortions in Calgary.
Our message to the offenders is very simple. We will continue down this path. We are taking a hard, unequivocal stance. There is no tolerance for this in any of our communities.
45-year-old Rana Shima has been charged with extortion and uttering threats in connection with a series of extortion incidents in the city. One of the incidents, a shooting at a house in northeast Calgary early last month. Then 3 weeks later, there were threats and vandalism targeting 2 daycares outside of the city. Police say these are connected to a wider issue across Canada of incidents specifically targeting the South Asian community in BC's Lower Mainland, Toronto, and Edmonton. Many of the cases have been linked to organized crime overseas. People in BC are wondering how this Volkswagen Beetle ended up on the side of the mountain.
Crazy. One just has to think of how they managed to get it up there.
Campers first spotted the car on Monday at a site near the Sea to Sky corridor. The bug has a giant E on it. The car resembles pranks pulled off years ago by UBC engineering students. And yesterday was April Fool's Day, so no one with the program is admitting to pulling off the stunt. Officials say the car will be removed within a week. Here's a look outside now on Donald Street. It looks like things are moving quite well in this part of the city. We have no issues to tell you about at this point in the drive. If you do see a problem out there, please text them to us at 10400 when it is safe and legal to do so.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
Show Me Where It Hurts is a new exhibit at the St. Boniface Buhler Art Gallery. Good morning, Tandy Vera.
Hi, Rochelle. I'm joined again by artist and creator Hannah. Thanks for joining again. And we're going to be chatting about these finger puppets because they're so cool, but they're also very interactive. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So I made some of them so that they can be interacted with in different ways. So you can kind of, you know, the banana can come out of its peel and it can just be kind of a discarded peel. This puppet, specifically this flower, I made it so that all of the petals can be removed. And so again, kind of like I said in the last bit, I'm kind of thinking about this idea of the memento mori and that, you know, this life cycle. So, you know, the idea that of course a petal eventually, or a flower eventually loses its petals, but then because it's this toy, I like that, you know, it's constantly can be repeated. You know, you can put it back on and then it begins a new life, and you can kind of see that in real time. Yeah.
That's so poetic and beautiful again. And for the exhibit though, people cannot touch the finger puppets. Just a heads up, don't touch them. And it's also part of the message that goes with the exhibit. Can you explain that for us?
Yeah, for sure. So again, I'm thinking a lot about agency within kind of the patient experience and specifically that of a child experiencing illness. And so often there's this you know, because healthcare professionals are helping you, there can be prodding and different things that are happening with your body that, while are helping you, feel like you just don't have control over your body. So I kind of like that. Obviously, puppets in our mind, you know, they're meant to be interacted with. You're meant to kind of stick your finger in it and make it do something silly. But in the context of the exhibition, they're actually going to be just in an installation context, and you're not supposed to touch them, and that kind of shifts the agency, the dynamics of agency within that kind of specific puppet's experience in the space.
But you are encouraging people as well to imagine the puppets moving and telling a story and kind of having prompts. Can you explain more about that?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So I'm going to have a book of, they're called Prompts for Puppet Plays. So it's going to kind of also bring in these threads of illness to the exhibition. So a lot of the prompts will kind of think about these ideas of like, who has control over the puppet and how you're interacting with them, and also some are really playful, like, you know, bring the fly over to the flower to kind of smell it or things like that. So I think there is this idea that you're kind of animating them in your mind and you're being very, you know, imaginative in that as well.
That's so beautiful. We'll have more later on in the show.
Thank you, Tandy. All right, let's talk about the weather now. Terry, the long weekend has arrived. What are we expecting this weekend?
Beautiful conditions, and I say that relatively speaking, because if we had nothing to compare it to, I'd be like, honestly, Rochelle, it's going to be another below seasonal weekend, and it will be a below seasonal weekend. But because, well, first of all, March was so miserably cold. I say that with a smile on my face. It wasn't that bad, but it was well below normal. And then April still kicked off yesterday with the below seasonal temperatures, and that trend will continue. We're looking now through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. Now, when I'm talking about the below seasonal temperatures, I'm not actually talking about this morning. We're actually above seasonal. -5 would be a normal low temperature. So most of us close to the freezing mark, just just barely below it by a degree or two. Moving through parts of central Manitoba, northern Manitoba, you're seeing these minus double digits. The only cold spot, and even that is an improvement over where you've been, Churchill coming in at minus 18, feeling a little bit colder once you're factoring in the winds. But for many of us, the winds are actually light to moderate and not having too much of an impact to those temperatures. We are, however, dealing with some heavier clouds and likely will throughout the day today, with just a few breaks in those clouds, pockets of sunshine here or there. We will be getting up to plus digits likely, but not by much and nowhere near what is normal for this time of year, with 6 degrees being seasonal. We'll top out at about 2, a little better tomorrow, a little better yet Saturday, and then some precipitation rolling through on Sunday. And after that, temperatures will be dropping off briefly before they're on the rise as we continue throughout next week.
Blockbuster movie Project Hail Mary, starring Ryan Gosling, is the biggest film on the planet right now, grossing more than $300 million in just 2 weeks. The space movie is getting a lot of attention worldwide, but so is a vintage cardigan sweater worn by Gosling in the film. The wolf sweater is a Mary Maxim cardigan with wolves on the front, and many are now trying to get their hands on this piece of clothing. But there's a Manitoba connection woven into the Mary Maxim brand with deep roots in our province's Ukrainian history. And joining us now to tell us more about that history is curator of historic clothing and textiles, Linda Lazarovich, aka Laz. Good morning, Linda.
Thank you. Good morning.
Well, thank you so much. You actually wrote your thesis on Mary Maxim.
No, it was one of the pieces that I was considering. That's why I did a lot of research.
So tell me a little bit about your collection, because it's very hard to get your hands on these sweaters, right?
Yes. Well, this has started 45, 50 years ago is when I was collecting.
Okay.
And I actually interviewed Mrs. McFedrin, whose husband actually opened Mary Maxim.
Wow.
So that goes back that far to the early 80s is when I interviewed her. And then before that, because Mary Maxim, I knew she was Ukrainian, and when I was doing my master's thesis, I wanted to have a Ukrainian connection and a Canadian connection. And because I'm a Canadian Ukrainian, I thought, Mary Maxim, why don't we put, and then I found out she was Mary Maximchuk.
From Sifton.
From Sifton. She was originally from Dauphin.
Okay.
And as a young woman moved to Sifton to help as a house person for the McFedrins, who had a wool shop.
I see.
And my mother, like many mothers in Saskatchewan, Alberta, Manitoba, would send their wool to the Sifton woolen mills, and they would card it, send it back, and we would make quilts. We would line coats with the wool that came back. And what he had at that time is he did the carding, he actually spun the wool and made socks.
Okay.
But he wanted something a little more that he could do entrepreneurship.
So fashion forward.
Fashion forward.
Okay.
And as McFedrin, the wife, said, he was in Edmonton and he went to a trade show. He was there for the CN because he was a station agent. And what he did is he bought that teeny weeny little sweater.
One here?
Yeah.
Okay.
He bought a sample of a Cowichan Siwash from the Salish tribes in BC.
Okay.
And he brought it home to his wife, and Mary was there, Mary Maximchuk. She was helping out, and she was always knitting and embroidering and such. And he said, Mary, could you make a copy of this? She said, sure. So she took out her graph paper and zoom, zoom, zoom. She made a copy on paper, and then she knitted it up.
This was really trendy at one point.
In the 40s and 50s.
Everybody wanted one of these.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it was what they call now slow fashion. Because each one of these sweaters has a little sweater like that has hundreds of stitches.
Wow.
These ones have thousands of stitches.
Okay.
And each stitch was done by the mother because she loved her family and she wanted them warm, and she wanted them like this would be for her little son with a hockey player.
Okay, so every sweater has a different image. So the Ryan Gosling one, there are 2 wolves on his cardigan, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
It was the early ones, and the early one was this reindeer, the beaver, and all those kinds of natural animals.
That's incredible.
Yep.
So we're almost out of time already.
Yep.
You were surprised that Ryan Gosling was wearing this sweater. He's a Canadian boy. Do you think that Canadian connection led him to the Mary Maxim sweater?
No, actually it was someone who saw the Mary Maxim sweater and at a show bought it and brought it to
That
the.
is so cool.
Yeah.
And it's such a Canadian story as well. And now it's trendy again. It seems that many people want to get their hands on this. So you're actually in the process of writing Ryan Gosling a letter because you want to offer him one of your
sweaters.
You have so many in your collection.
Yes, I do.
Do you think you'll get a response from him?
I think so. And also, I should say that these sweaters were shown at the Ukrainian Museum in Winnipeg, 1175 Main, 2 years ago. And I was looking for a picture of Mary Maxim because I could never find it. And this is a picture of Mary Maxim.
Lift it a little higher. So
she lived till she was 95.
That's an incredible Manitoba story. I love this so much. Thank you, Laz, for sharing this with us.
Thank you for having us on.
And that's actually the perfect layering piece for a day like today. I was saying that we are slightly above seasonal as far as these temperatures go this morning, and even though we're not going to make massive gains today, a lighter layer. I mean, I didn't bring my big parka today, so a nice wool sweater, how perfect would that be? It's -1, feels more like -6 with that breeze. It's at 16 clicks out of the east with the pressure rising and the humidity at 74%. I'm still waiting to see a little more sunshine. It is on the cloudier side right now, and that'll likely be the case through much of the day today, but moments where these clouds kind of break up and clear out a little bit should allow us to enjoy at least brief pockets of sunshine throughout the day today. A better chance of enjoying that sunshine through central and northern Manitoba, and with that sunshine will come some even slightly milder temperatures. A degree or two higher is where you're headed across much of northern Manitoba, with 3-4 degrees being your expected average highs. Here in the south, 1 to 2 degrees. But hey, we'll take it. At least it's above freezing, and we will still make those gains as we continue through Friday, Saturday even, and even Sunday should keep us above the freezing mark, although Sunday we'll see less sunshine and perhaps some precipitation passing through. Following that, it will drop off a little bit. We're looking at below freezing temperatures for holiday Monday, but only for a day, back up to freezing by Tuesday, and then steadily warming throughout much of next week. Our weather picture today, absolutely stunning, breathtaking. The full moon, the aurora borealis, how gorgeous is that? Up in the Knee Lake area, Wayne took this and shared it with us. Keep the photos coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Today we're going to be whipping up something that you might want to be whipping up perhaps for your Easter brunch. Gordon Bailey joins me today. He's a instructor at Red River Polytech, but he's also here today with Manitoba Turkey. So let's talk a little bit about this feast that maybe we want to be serving up.
Okay, what we've got here is a turkey cranberry upside down cake.
Like, okay, you're gonna have to explain this, because to me, when I first heard this, I'm like, okay, that's weird. That's weird.
And I got that quite a bit when I first came up with this recipe. You know, I got that kind of side eye of like, what are you talking about, turkey and a cake? But really, what I kind of break it down to is if you like stuffing and you gotta love turkey, you're gonna love this cake.
Okay, so then tell us the elements into this and how this becomes a thing, because is it a sweet cake? It's a savory cake.
It's like a little, it's got both. It's a yin and yang. You got a little bit of sweet and you got a little bit of savory there going on. So this one's really easy to do. All I do is cut up my turkey into small diced pieces. I brown that off in a saute pan. I add my cranberries just to soften them. I put them in the bottom of a springform pan, and then I make up my batter, which is a very almost corn cake-like batter, where, and what I end up doing though that gives it a really sort of savory touch is that I include butternut squash into there as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is like a whole meal then into one. And I mean, you used fresh turkey to do this, but if people want to use their leftover turkey, that can also be done, right?
That would be a brilliant way to use leftover turkey, because you're always getting that as a chef asked, what do I do with my leftovers?
Yeah.
This would be a perfect way to use up those turkey leftovers.
Excellent. So what are you putting together here?
Well, I just wanted to do a little sauce with this one, and it's going to be a cranberry orange reduction.
Oh.
And now you can make any kind of sauce with this. It could be, you know, since it's kind of that, you know, stuffing turkey sort of feel to it, you could even use a gravy. But in this case, I wanted to just sort of like really play on that tartness of the cranberries and give it a little sweetness of the orange.
Excellent. So what have you got going on in here?
So I've got a little bit of orange juice that I reduced down with a slight bit of sugar into it, just to give it a little bit better viscosity. And then I'm just going to add some fresh orange segments and a little bit of fresh cranberries. And then I would let that cook for probably about another 2-3 minutes just to let those cranberries soften, just so they're not totally too al dente.
All right, and you could use a frozen berry in that too. If,
you could use a frozen berry, and once again, like the sauce options for this are endless, much like turkey options are endless.
Okay, let's try it then. So this, you put it all together. I mean, we saw you putting it together in that video there. So it comes together like a cake. Here is the finished product. A cake that I'm gonna have to try. So grab the knife there.
We're gonna do it.
Give me a slice.
Okay.
Because I am so curious about this one. How long do you have to cook it for?
Okay, so once the batter, you put the turkey and the cranberries into the bottom of the springform pan.
Yep.
And then you place your batter over top.
Okay,
and then
look at that.
You bake for about anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes at 350, depending on your oven. And then let it rest for probably, I would say, 3-5 minutes as it comes out of the oven. Invert it, voila, do your unveiling, and people are going to be shocked at this one.
And then dress it up like this. I will say, the colors in this, like, it looks like a presentation. Again, my brain is still thinking cake, so I'm like, okay, we'll see how this goes.
Well, and the fun thing about this is it's just an alternative to doing your typical roast turkey dinner.
Okay, let's try this.
Okay, drum roll.
I'd do that for brunch. I would do that for brunch.
Right?
This is delicious. Where do we find the recipe?
Okay, you go to turkey.mb.ca for this recipe and for hundreds of other really unique, awesome, versatile turkey recipes.
Yeah, weird to wrap your head around. It's delicious though. Well done.
Okay, thank you so much.
I look outside right now, it's -1. There's moments of that sunshine. Soak them up while you can. We might not be seeing a whole lot of it through the day today. East wind 16 kilometers per hour, the pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 74%. Mainly cloudy conditions, and then yes, pockets of sunshine here or there. Take anything that you can get, find your little moment and be like, thank you. Because here's the thing, it's better than it's been. That's the best thing that I can say about it. But actually, if you step outside, you'll be like, Terry was right. It's kind of pleasant. Probably more so through central and northern Manitoba where the sky is a little bit clearer and you're likely to see a little more sunshine. But even here in the south, those moments throughout the day today and plus-digit temperatures, not seasonal by any means, but 2 degrees, we'll take it. 6 is a normal daytime high. -5 is actually a normal low, so we're above that right now, and we'll stay above it this coming night as we drop down to -3. Still mainly cloudy conditions, and again, mainly cloudy tomorrow, but those moments of sunshine will make it a little more pleasant. They'll seem like a little gift to us at times. 3 degrees, getting a little bit warmer yet on Saturday, up to 5 degrees, and then on Sunday, not as mild, but still in the plus digits, likely to see some precipitation passing through. Now, Monday's the day that the temperature will be dipping even more so, dropping down below the freezing mark, but back up to freezing, and then maybe into the plus digits again as it'll warm throughout next week.
Sex offender Peter Nygaard is suing the government of Manitoba and Saskatchewan, along with Winnipeg police and others, alleging charges he faced in one case were an abusive process. The former fashion mogul was charged in 2023 for allegedly sexually assaulting and unlawfully confining a woman in Winnipeg in 1993. Those charges were stayed in October after a judge ruled records of police interviews with the complainant in 1993 were destroyed without justifiable reasons, violating Nygaard's right to a fair trial. Prosecutors decided not to lay charges in 2020, but the Manitoba government later forwarded the investigation to Saskatchewan Justice for an independent review, and Nygaard was arrested. In the statement of claim, Nygaard's lawyers alleged 2 women, including the complainant, made defamatory statements, the Manitoba government acted improperly, and police were negligent. The claims have not been tested in court, and none of the defendants has filed statements of defense. Easter weekend kicks off tomorrow with Good Friday, bringing closures and reduced hours for many offices and retail establishments. Most Winnipeg malls, including CF Polo Park, St. Vital Centre, Kildonan Place, Outlet Collection Winnipeg, and Garden City Shopping Centre, are open from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Good Friday. Grand Park Shopping Centre is open from noon to 5. All Winnipeg malls are closed Sunday, except CF Polo Park, which is open 11 to 6. Winnipeg and Brandon Liquor Marts are open 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Good Friday, Friday with the same hours Easter Sunday. The True North Square location is closed both days, and hours at rural stores may vary. City of Winnipeg offices are closed on Good Friday and Easter Monday. Recycling and garbage collection on those days will proceed as normal. Transit on Good Friday operates on a Sunday schedule. All library branches are closed Good Friday and Sunday, with select locations operating under limited hours Monday. Most pools and leisure centers are closed Friday and Monday, with limited opening hours both days at Pan Am Pool, Margaret Grant Pool, and Cindy Clausen Recreation Complex. The Winnipeg Art Gallery Calmar York is closed Good Friday and Easter Monday and is open Easter Sunday from 11 to 5. The Manitoba Museum is open from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Good Friday and closed as usual on Monday. The Canadian Museum for Human Rights is open Good Friday from 10 to 5 and closed Monday. A full list of what's open and closed is on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. The war in the Middle East is not only driving up prices at the pump, it's also causing jet fuel prices to spike, meaning your spring or summer vacation will likely be more expensive. CTV's Pat Foran has more.
If you've been thinking about taking an airline trip this spring or summer but haven't bought tickets yet, the Flight Center says get ready to pay more.
We have seen rising jet fuel prices driving up costs for airfare. So this will now impact Canadians.
There could be a separate line for a fuel surcharge, or it may just be a more expensive ticket. Airlines are also rerouting planes away from the conflict in the Middle East, and for some international flights, that will add hundreds of dollars per ticket.
So instead of a $1,600 flight over the Middle East through to the Philippines, you're now going to be paying around $2,000. So this is also adding to the pressures of airfare prices right now.
Some cruise ships have also started raising their prices.
I do expect a domino effect. I'm sure all the major cruise lines, including the small river boats, they will start to introduce fuel surcharges real soon.
For Canadians who have already made their summer travel plans, there's been a major increase in bookings to Portugal, the Netherlands, Italy, and Japan. Some travelers are also looking for more budget-friendly locations.
That could be South America. It can also be Central America, Panama, Belize. I personally am looking at Mexico.
Canadians are still avoiding U.S. travel, citing the political climate, border hassles, safety security concerns, and the exchange rate. There has been an increase in domestic bookings, especially in Atlantic Canada and Alberta. If the conflict continues, expect travel costs to remain high.
As long as the situation is uncertain in the Middle East, we do not anticipate that airfare prices will be decreasing.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Here's a look at traffic now along Notre Dame Avenue. Things are moving quite well in this part of the city. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us, please, at 10400. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average stands at $1.79. The provincial average is $1.72. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.73. And the lowest price in the city is $1.65. All this information is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
It's time now for the responses to our question of the day. Today we wanted to know, what is your favorite space movie or space TV show? The original Star Trek with Captain Kirk always had a happy ending, shared a viewer. Alana says, my new favorite movie, space movie, is Project Hail Mary. Armageddon for Katrina. Mike's fave space-themed movie TV show was Firefly. Selena loves Guardians of the Galaxy. And Kathy shared the real first Star Wars that I saw at the King's Theater. Thank you so much for your responses.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic. Science-backed body contouring.
Let's go back now to Tandy Vera, who's been playing with puppets all morning long. Hi, Tandy.
Hi, Rochelle. Yeah, I've been having such a fun morning checking out this new upcoming exhibit. I'm joined again by the creator and artist, Hannah. Good morning, Hannah.
Morning.
Now, you have some workshops upcoming, but also a workshop you're doing today here in the hospital. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so I always love to, my background is kind of in community arts and doing lots of like workshops with different community members and kind of incorporating that into my larger practice. So this afternoon, I'm doing some workshops with some friends of mine that run the Art at the Bedside table, or Art at the Bedside program at St. Boniface. And We're going to be doing some workshops making puppets and making little short videos to put into the exhibit actually. And so we're doing that on some of the inpatient wards. And then I'm also going to be doing, I think, some workshops in the psych ward as well tomorrow.
That's very cool. And people who still want to come to the workshop and might not be in the hospital, of course, can still actually come to an open one that's happening sometime next week, I think.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing a workshop that's completely open to the public of the hospital, or just the general public, next Friday from 11 to 2. So that's April 10th.
Great. And people can expect puppet making?
Yeah, so we're going to be making finger puppets. I'll have kind of like a variety of supplies, so people could sew if they want, kind of similar to how I did. They could sew the finger puppet, or they could use glue and be like, not if you're not into sewing. So it's really like user friendly. Anybody of any ability can participate in any way they want.
That sounds like so much fun. And you also have an opening reception a week from now, next week, Thursday. Can you chat more about that?
Yeah, the opening reception is going to be from 6 to 9 next Thursday, April 9th. So hopefully we'd love to have a bunch of people out. There'll be more happening in the gallery than there is today. Everything's going to be set up. So hopefully it'll be really fun. I think there'll be some remarks and just get to see the show, get to meet some people. Yeah.
And what do you hope people, kind of experience when they walk through the exhibit? Like, what do you hope they feel?
Yeah, that's a good question. I always feel like I like to make my work open to, different interpretations and different experiences. Face value, my work is often really playful, really silly, really kind of can bring you out of your head and be really a fun experience. But then also, as we've talked about, there's lots of kind of more intense themes that have to do with my own experience of illness, and themes to do with kind of agency in the experience of a patient. So I'd love if some people want to, stay with the show a bit longer and get into kind of past that playful facade and kind of really dive into some of those themes and explore that as well.
It's amazing. And last thing, really quick, where can people find you?
I have an Instagram account, so Hannah G. Doucette, and then I also have a website that's just my name, hannahdoucette.com.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you for joining us this morning, learning more about puppetry, and we hope you have a good Easter weekend.
Thank you, Tandy. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It might depend on the weather. How's it going to be this long weekend?
Listen, I think it is going to be a good weekend because we've got really pleasant temperatures, not quite seasonal, sure, but compared to where we've been, we have not had a chance to adjust to seasonal temperatures. So relatively speaking, it is going to be quite pleasant. -1 is where we're sitting right now. A bit of a breeze. It's only 16 clicks, though, out of the east this morning. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 74%. We do have mainly cloudy conditions hanging over us. That'll likely be the case throughout the day today, but I am hopeful, optimistic, if you will, of moments of sunshine here or there. Better chance of seeing that sunshine across northern Manitoba, where the temperatures might even surpass what we'll reach here in the south. Around 2 degrees in Winnipeg, 1 and 2 the average through southern Manitoba, 3, 4 to be the average throughout much of northern Manitoba, and then slowly and steadily rising as we continue through Friday and into Saturday. Sunday could bring another round of precipitation. We'll see the temperatures fall briefly after that, but then as we look ahead to next week, the mercury will be on the rise again. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Good morning. In Ottawa, a woman is on a mission to find a cure for Parkinson's disease. She was diagnosed at just 37 years old and is now doing everything she can to assist others living with the condition. CTV's Leah LaRocque reports.
Just lack of control.
It started as a small tremor in Chantel Theriault's right hand that she could no longer ignore.
And then it moved from my hand to my arm, and it moved down to my leg, and I said, okay, it's time.
At just 37 years old, an unexpected diagnosis.
The news that he gave me, I thought for sure that he picked up the wrong chart, but he told me that I had Parkinson's disease.
Parkinson's disease is a brain condition that gradually affects movement, causing tremors, stiffness, and slower motion, more common in men and those over 40. The ICU program coordinator for more than 2 decades, now turning to the Ottawa Hospital for care.
It's tiring in the sense that even if I may not be shaking excessively on the outside, it's still happening on the inside. So it is tiring.
Theriault refused to give up what she loved, including kickboxing and her fitness regime. But she took it further, participating in clinical studies and research, including a smell test to help see how the nose and sense of smell affects those living with Parkinson's.
That's fair enough that you're guided by the options.
Mint.
Mint is the correct answer.
The new Ottawa Hospital campus site will include a building that's dedicated to neuroscience and geriatrics, and it's largely funded by philanthropy.
Thériault has also raised more than $50,000 over the years.
Parkinson's is 10 years behind Alzheimer's disease with all the discoveries.
Her doctor says her work in the trials and in fundraising is critical to help better understand the disease.
But the holy grail as to how do we stop it today, we're not there yet, but I'm very, very optimistic, and I always say to my wife, I don't retire until we're there, that in the next 10 years we'll have the intervention that really puts the brakes on the progression of the illness.
A story of research, resilience, and hope.
Why this is so important to me is because it's my future and other people's future.
Leah LaRocque, CTV News.
From art, trinkets, and other unique gift ideas, a store in the Exchange District sells items from around the world. Two Macaw's concept store on Albert Street is about to celebrate its first year in Winnipeg, and new arrivals are here for the spring and summer season. Joining us now is the owner of Two Macaw's concept store, Noor. Good morning, Noor.
Morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, tomorrow is your official 1-year anniversary. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us how it's been like for you starting a new business here in Winnipeg, in the Exchange District, and how it's been going.
Honestly, it has been such an incredible year. It was initially very scary, starting like I think in a time where a lot of things were closing down. There was a lot of uncertainty with things going on with our southern neighbors, but the community has shown up every single day.
Oh my gosh,
and I've
that's
just
great.
received so much love, and we've expanded in just the past year into a bigger space. It just has been so incredible. The love has just been overpouring.
That is amazing to hear. Manitobans really pull through for us, don't we? Let's talk about some of the items that you have, because what's really unusual about your store is that you really literally get them, you source them from all over the world.
Yeah, so I traveled a bit before I moved back to Winnipeg 2 years ago, which was kind of like the point of opening a store, is bringing things that I saw while I was traveling. So whether it's from brands that held a special meaning to me, or bringing fabrics like from India, which is where I grew up. So it's like everything that I source has some meaning behind it. It's just not another item, and everything holds a meaning. We have like so People I've Loved is an amazing brand that I work with, and they have a very mental health perspective on all of their products, whether it's like a simple guided journal, but it's a book to preserve the story of your life, and it's such a popular gift.
So it's like a journal?
It's a journal, but it's for mums or stories you can tell, so you can pass it down.
Oh, I love that.
But it's a very different throw on it. It's not lengthy and like super formal. It's a fun way of it, but also keeping things in mind that we face on an everyday basis, not just like the big and the very, very small moments, but what happens on the everyday.
Which is kind of sweet, because it's a great memento of a loved one at that time. You have some really unique bags here, and talk about some of these beautiful fabrics that you brought here too.
So one of the things that's also going to be, we're going to be focusing at the store this summer, is block prints, which is what these are. So these two different kinds of block prints. This is a quilt and this is a throw blanket. These are 100% like cotton.
So nice.
Hand printed, hand block printed in India.
Yeah.
And we're actually going to be doing a block printing workshops to teach how that is actually done, like from the very get-go, and how there's like tiny imperfections, but that's what makes it human, and that's what makes it
original
perfect.
and really special. Okay, well, we're almost out of time already. First Fridays in the Exchange is your anniversary tomorrow.
Yes.
You're having a celebration. You will be open.
We are going to be open 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. We're having an incredible pop-up. We're going to be with Sonder Winnipeg. We're going to be serving matcha and other beverages all day, and everything in the Exchange is open as well from till about 9. So yeah, it is a holiday, but we're all open.
And this is great to know as well, because Mother's Day is just around the corner, and so if you're looking for a unique gift, you should check out the store. Thank you so much, Noor, for sharing this with us, and congratulations on your 1-year anniversary.
Thank you.
No kidding. Happy anniversary. All right, -1 outside. East winds are 16 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising. The humidity is sitting at 74%. 94%. We do have those heavier clouds hanging around. You'll see the difference, though, between southern Manitoba, where it is mainly cloudy, to parts of northern Manitoba, a lot clearer, a little more sunshine expected, and slightly milder temperatures. Churchill will be the exception to that with the heavier clouds and the bit of precipitation. But other places, look at this, up into the plus digits, perhaps surpassing where many of us across southern Manitoba will be today with 3, 4, maybe 5 degrees even. Look at Norway House. You might be one of the warmest spots in the province today. Yes, the heavier clouds will likely linger through much of southern Manitoba. We should at least be pushing into the plus digits, though. We'll take that as a win compared to where we've been through the last several weeks. I mean, pretty much all of March was well below normal. And then technically today is still below seasonal because 6 degrees would be a normal high. And yes, 2 is where we'll top out today with a little more precipitation expected in areas to the east of us. And in fact, a little more precipitation by the time we're wrapping up the weekend. A slow climb with those temperatures through Saturday. Precipitation passes through on Sunday. Following that, the temperature drops off only briefly. It'll rise again. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Well, before we send you off into the long weekend, we're going to have some fun video for you. We kick things off with a very expensive date. This man did exactly what his girlfriend wanted, to take her to somewhere expensive, and nowadays that's the gas station. Yeah, I'm not sure if I would like that. Just the fumes alone. She seems to be enjoying it.
Listen, good for the gram or the TikTok or wherever that ended up getting posted.
And you know, something is popular when it hits the wedding scene. This couple's wedding theme was pickleball. They had a court built at their venue with custom paddles emblazoned with their initials. That would be fun. Might be hard to do in a dress like that, though. But
did they meet playing pickleball? Because that would make sense.
What's the connection there? But we'll never know.
No.
And then
I'll still sleep okay.
And then an unlikely collision in San Francisco Bay left a windsurfer with a whale of a tale to share with his friends.
Oh my gosh.
Goodness. This wild video shows the gray whale surfacing right in the path of the surfer, who toppled off his board and into the bay. The whale disappeared back into the water, and the surfer appeared to be unharmed. Hopefully the whale's okay. I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I bet the whale's fine. That's terrifying.
Isn't it? Oh my goodness, you don't expect
now
that.
You're in the water with a whale, and you just knocked him.
And you don't know where he is.
He owes you one.
You can't see him either. Well, have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back on Monday.